Welcome everyone to Live Stream Reviews. My name is Christian Karasevich. I'm the content marketing manager at StreamYard. You may notice things look a little different today. That's because I've got a different setup today. And actually, it's quite a different setup for live streaming. And it's one of those things that Leticia and I were talking about before the show. And it's just about being transparent with people. You know, if you're doing live streams, you aren't always going to be in the same location. So sometimes you don't have the same equipment or the same setup. For example, today, you'll notice my mic is right here in front of me, and I've sort of got it off to the side. And that's because, well, the table I'm using does not have, I don't have my boom arm. So the one that goes up and brings the mic over or lets me put it underneath. Instead, I'm using a tabletop stand. And this is a different way you can position your mic. So for example, I've got my Shure SM7B position here. The other thing also that's different today is I normally have a big monitor. However, today I'm working off of a laptop screen and I'm actually working off of an iPad. I have there's a product, it's called the Luna display, and it allows you to plug it into your laptop and it makes your iPad or even an old Mac or even a PC an extra display. So it's a pretty awesome little device. It's about $80, a little device like this. And that's just plugged in. So you'll see me looking off, and that's because I've got the iPad over here on the side. But with that, I want to bring Leticia on. I know we have had a busy week. I know, right, Leticia?
Oh my God, this week was so busy, guys.
Yeah. And why was that, by the way? What do we have going on?
We've hosted our very first live stream summit powered by StreamYard.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, right? We had some great
Yes.
speakers. We had Seth Godin. You probably have read his books. I mean, I have all of his
Yes.
books, so you probably saw him. We had Amy Landino keynoting some sessions. We had
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Phillips. We had Sarah Newen, Brian
Yeah,
Schulman.
yeah, we
Uh,
have Daniel, D, Roberto. I mean, we had some heavyweights on the summit this week.
and so if you attended, I'd really would love to hear what kind of feedback you had on the event. For example, you're welcome if you attended and you want to send us some feedback, just send it to marketing@streamyard.com. Uh, and what we'll do is, we want to take that feedback down. So we want to hear from
Mm-hmm.
you. If there were things you're like, hey, I wish the sessions were longer. I wish you covered
Yeah.
this topic. So we want to hear from you on that. So do us a favor, send that to us, marketing@streamyard.com.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just a couple of quick notes here, and we're going to kick it off with a topic. We like to start the show off with a topic.
Yes.
But if you do have questions during the show, just put #ask in your comment. That allows us to easily find your question. If you have a feature request, put #feature. I'll also be taking those down as well. So if you see me, looking down at my keyboard, that's because I'm over there trying to make some notes. But Leticia, I know we have a topic we want to talk about today. And what's that topic?
So the topic for today is why having a show name is so important.
So what is a show name? Let's start with that.
A show name is a title that you give your live show, right? Like normally people will show up, go live, and they just say, okay, I'm just going to hit that go live button and go. But when you actually create a title for your live, a title for your show, it gets your audience to know and understand that this is something you're going to be doing regularly. And Christian and I were talking yesterday, and I was like, I'm so surprised and shocked how many people don't even have a title in their live. Like they just go live and there's no title. I don't know what your show is about. I don't know what your conversation is about. And it just creates a little bit of unprofessionalism to your stream. So having a show title name is so important. And I want to share with you guys some of the ways I come up with show title names. I think I have 4 or 5 different shows other than this one that I do. And when I first started early on in live streaming, which was probably back in 2014, 2015, and these like show names and titles wasn't really talked about because there was no blueprint to live streaming. Everybody just went out, did either Google Hangout or Periscope, which I think now is called Twitter TV. I'm not sure,
Or
but
Twitter Live. I think they're
Twitter
working on
Live.
Twitter Live. They're working on it. It's not Twitter
They're
Live
working on a
yet,
name.
but it's probably going to be Twitter Live at some point.
Yes, yes. And so, I was never told or never even thought of calling, even though I've done thousands and thousands of live streams, I didn't really
Hmm.
have a name till I didn't really start to title my shows as show names until probably around 2018, 2019. So with that said, once I started to transition into actually titling my shows, because I was taught early on, just have one show, just do one type of live. And I'm like, well, there's several different layers to Leticia. I'm not just emo marketing. I'm not just branding. Like, I like to have my sister to sister connection shows for my woman of color. I like to have my shows like BC shows, you know what I'm saying? Things like that, to where there's different topics for each show. It's different themes for each show. So it's nothing wrong, guys, with having multiple shows. To be honest, you got to look at your brand as like a network, like Fox 5 News and all these different channels don't just have one show. Like, it's not just one show that comes on HBO. There's several
Hmm.
shows that come on HBO.
Yeah.
So look at it as that. Yes, having multiple shows, it takes a lot to manage, right?
Hmm.
But as you grow, you start to get help. Maybe you get a VA, or maybe you start to narrow down, like, okay, maybe instead of having 5 shows, it's narrowed down to 3 and make it more theme specific. So yeah, I was like joking around with Christian yesterday. I was like, I am so shocked at looking at all these shows with all these different, with no title, none. No
Hmm.
title
Yeah.
in it at all, no description. I'm like, girl, what are you doing?
Hmm. No, excellent point. Yeah, and in terms of show names, I mean, so here's the thing: once you have a show name, this is the other thing you have to think about. So you don't like, for example, when you then go schedule a broadcast, your show name should not be the title of your broadcast.
Hmm.
That's the other thing. A lot of people,
Hmm.
I see this on YouTube. I think we had a pastor on a few. I think was it 2 weeks ago? I think, and
Yeah.
they had they were using the show their title of their show, or in this case, their live stream, was the title they used for their YouTube videos, all of their YouTube videos. And
Hmm.
that's not a good thing to do,
No,
because,
it's
and
not.
here's why. Because, for starters, it doesn't tell people anything. It's
Mm-mm.
not about the name of the show.
Hmm.
When people go watch that live stream, they're going to watch your
Exactly.
stream because it's about something.
That's
So,
right.
for example, this is live stream reviews under the StreamYard brand.
Hmm.
So our show is always going to be called live stream reviews, because every single episode is about live
My
stream
live streaming,
reviews.
yeah, absolutely.
However, for example, I know, like, I do a show, for example, I do a show called Social Chatter, and
Hmm.
that is the name of the show, but every
Hmm.
episode is specific to what the topic is we're going to be talking about.
I
And
agree.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I have a show called Sister to Sister Connection, and we had to switch that because we was doing the same thing you mentioned, Christian. We would just have the Sister to Sister Connection title, but when people
Hmm.
go to our YouTube, they're like, okay, what were y'all talking about? So having the
Right.
actual title, the topic in the
Yeah.
subject line, and maybe if you can squeeze in the title of the show at the end, because people know
Yeah.
through your graphic, through your thumbnail, that,
Right.
oh, this
Hmm.
is Social Chef, or this is
Right.
Sister to
Or this.
Sister
Yeah.
Connection.
Yep.
They know, they pick up on that.
And you could put it's powered by, for example, your brand as well.
Right.
So, for
Great point.
example, I'm going to look at some of the comments here, actually. So, we had some really good comments, by the way. So,
Yeah.
let me find these real quick. So, there were a couple people that had some show names, actually.
Ooh, yeah. Tell
Where did
tell
they
us you
go,
guys show
actually?
names, guys. Tell us, and if you guys
These
want
are
to
some
come
on
on
screen.
screen, I'm gonna put the link for you guys to hop on
Yeah.
screen with us, and it's the best for you guys to show up on, join us on panels so that we can help you iron out your next show name, your next show title, your next series of shows. Definitely join us. I'm gonna put the link here in the comments.
But by
And
the way, CJ, sorry if we started a little bit late. As I mentioned, we had a couple of equipment issues. Actually, I couldn't get my camera or my audio to come on, and it turns out I had unplugged the. I have a dock that I use, and I had actually unplugged it by accident. I don't know how that happened. So I'm sorry that that we were a few minutes late there.
Yeah, it
Um,
happens. Like I was telling Christian earlier, I have that family over, so I had to go out on my balcony this morning to do
yeah.
my email marketing trend show. I mean, it happens, guys. Like, it happens. Things, that's what I like about StreamYard, because again, everything is already, if you set it up in advance and you
Yep.
have all your overlays set up, your video clips, even if you are late, you're not really as late because everything's already set up. So you don't look like just shuffle trying to find your notes, and all my talking points was already on StreamYard because I uploaded it in advance.
Yeah, and that is one thing, by the way. If you are somebody that's going to be moving around a lot,
Yeah.
in terms of live streaming, try to keep your kit, i.e., your setup, very small and compact.
Yes, that's
Because, for
true.
example, I'll tell you this: like, when I had to move locations. I had to move a light, and it wasn't just a light. I had to then figure out my microphone, my mixer. I don't have my monitor, for example. I also had to figure out like what kind of tabletop is this going on, because it's not just like, oh, I'm going to set my laptop there. All this other gear takes extra space. So it does, for example, I was literally an hour before the show, I was setting up everything to try to get it right. But yeah, so let's get to some of these questions here, by the way. And so, and I do want to mention, like Adam, for example. Adam says his show is Reselling Rhythms. And I don't know if you see that, Leticia, in the comments, but his show is titled, I actually don't have a time on that one, actually. I'm seeing some of the comments in the chat and some of them are not there. It's interesting. Some of his is showing up on YouTube, which is interesting, but it's not showing up in our dashboard.
What's the name again? I'm sorry.
Adam's Exploits.
Adam's
Exploits. So for example, his show is called Reselling Rhythms. And then it's about reselling, obviously, says, and so you can be catchy with that. But then what you don't want to do is you don't want to be like Reselling Rhythms, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, because here's the thing. When that shows up on, for example, if it's a YouTube live, it's going to show up on YouTube as Reselling Rhythms episode 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But that doesn't mean anything to YouTube, and it doesn't mean anything to the viewer. They're not going to necessarily read the description. So they're going to be looking for that title. So for example, I don't know if you guys watch, I think it's Pawn Stars, I think.
I watched that show.
So for example, their episodes are not like Pawn Stars episode 1. It's about what that episode is about. So for example, if they're, let's say somebody's coming in with some like vintage guitar, they're giving you kind of hints about what it's about. Like, super rare guitar from the Beatles, for example. That might be something that they say. And so that's to get you to tune in, but you also know what that is. And then you understand that it is from Pawn Stars, for example.
Exactly.
So and it's, just got to keep that in mind.
If you have people, you have to think of the people who are going to be tuning in. Because again, you're going live, not just for today, you're going live for the people who are going to watch replays. People will watch your content all the way up till after a year that you posted it. So with that said, having like specific titles to your subject of what you're going to be talking about is important, because if they want to go back to it, they're going to type in the title in the search. You know what I'm saying? Not the show name. If they type in the show name, they have to shuffle through, because by that time, like I know you have a show, Christian, again, you mentioned Social Chefs, you have over 200 episodes. It was one episode you was talking about a particular topic about Clubhouse, and I had, all I had to do was type it in, and that conversation came up. So that's what it is like making it accessible so that way your viewers can easily find your content without rummaging through a bunch all your playlists.
Excellent points, by the way. So let's go ahead and bring on CJ, and I'm gonna answer Adam's question real quick. Adam said he had 4 or 5 questions during the live event, didn't get them answered. We were super busy, I will say that, Adam. You're welcome to email those if you want to just email marketing@streamyard.com. Just write out your questions, and I'll make sure that we get to those. So thanks a lot. CJ, thanks a lot for joining us.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me on. I've been using StreamYard for over a year now, and finally glad I actually got to catch one of you guys live. Normally I watch them post, so I'm like, first time live watcher. And I just wanted to also point out that that's another reason why we like StreamYard feature here, is you can go from being in the audience, just somebody commenting, to, oh wow, I'm on the show right now. So we like that feature. But the show that I'm the CEO of is Adam versus the Man. You can find us on YouTube. We've been using it. We have a team of about 10 people. We use it for libertarian leaning podcasting, journalists, and interviews. I mean, if you check out our content, you'll see we try to push StreamYard to the max. So my point for actually wanting to join today is to kind of speak more on the technical side on things. You guys, when I'm backstage here and you see where it says live, and you can see like the reactions from the producer side of things. Well, as somebody who has a degree in software and tries to utilize this to the max, I'd like to take the timer off there and the reactions off there and move that next to the destinations. And I'd really like to get in touch with somebody in your technical side of things. So my question is, where can I find that conversation? And then my last question is if somebody wanted to buy stock in StreamYard, where could they go?
So I will say that the stock side, I know that I don't know if there's even a way to do that. I don't think so. That's a very good question. So in terms of a technical issue, I'd also say the same thing, email marketing at StreamYard.com. I don't know if we have a specific developer email. I'm sure we do, but I don't know of a specific developer email address that we have. So if you email marketing at StreamYard.com, I get that. And as well as our entire team. So
I appreciate the conversation you guys are having about show names and titles. Our show is a little more laxed. We do have show titles and notes, and we have all our links and everything. We have a private destination for all our subscribers to get that. But sometimes on YouTube, we're in a rush. We're late. We have life appointments. We're real. We're parents. We're family.
That's right.
And so sometimes we do forget a title here. I guess the takeaway for me on that point is it's always good to go back and digitally clean up.
That's
and
right.
As much as it might be tedious, it's necessary for your success and for others. So, but thank you guys for letting me join, showing how easy it is to just go from in the comments to on the show with you guys. So thank you, Leticia, and thank you, Christian.
Very welcome. I have a quick question for you though. Okay, so I went on YouTube and I looked up Adam versus the Man.
Yes.
Which one are you? Because I see like this Adam Kokesh here.
Yes, Adam Kokesh is the host of the show.
Oh, wow.
Our executive producer, Jim Freedom. We have a whole team of co-hosts Monday through Friday that we have. We have Mercedes Damertowski on Monday, Ed Vallejo on Tuesday. Okay. We have Jonathan Evans on Wednesday. We have our co-host captain, Stephen McClure on Thursday. And FINA Fridays for Freedom Friday. You can catch us at, what is that? It's 10 a.m. Central Standard Time till about noon. So
awesome.
We do talk a lot of libertarian, like I said. I wish those numbers were a little there. We do get censored a lot because we're news. We talk about, mainstream headlines. We can, if I was to pull up my analytics from what you see behind the scenes on that, you would see a trail of censorship. But that channel has about 20 million views in a year using StreamYard, so that I can verify. So, I mean, that's not bad for first time use on software. Our host Adam there has been doing his journalist activism since he got out of the Marine Corps. He's a Marine Corps combat veteran, myself as well, and our producer. We have a whole bunch of veterans on this as well. So we do put a lot of time in StreamYard. We all know it like the back of our hands. We've all got our little points, but we always said it'd be really cool to get in touch with you guys at StreamYard directly because your guys' software has helped us build this team. We're actually starting a nonprofit out of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We have our first retreat. And what's really cool is you can fit a lot of people on a screen, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That brings a lot of people together. And so we're planning our first retreat. So all this came from having this kind of platform available. So again, I bought the premium package out the gate. Nice. And like I said, if I could just figure out when you guys hit the stock market, not just
fantastic.
Maybe I'm sorry. Last thing, if you're going to keep me on here, I would ask is there going to be a way that you guys can integrate live phone calls? So if people wanted to call into the show, and I know that you guys, I can shut my camera off and I can not be seen, but if I wanted to take actual callers, is there going to be a day where your development team kind of tries to figure out that next way to integrate? I mean, I feel like as a software engineer, we're not that far off from it. Mm-hmm. And so if you guys came out with something like that, that seems to be the one disconnect that eludes us, is how can we make it so that our host hears the guest and the audience? So, I mean, if you guys have some suggestions to taking live phone callers like that, where they can hear all the audio as well, I'd be open. But like I said, taking live phone calls seems to be the number one thing that people in our audience would like to see happen.
So I would say this. Actually, I have two questions for you. So first question for you is, what would you classify Adam's channel as? Would it be like politics or
libertarian leaning podcasting and news? We do interviews. I mean, Adam Kokesh has been running for president for the Libertarian Party for a few, years now, a few cycles now. And he's planning on running again. So we're actually going to be a presidential campaign using StreamYard at some point.
Nice.
So, I mean, he's kind of like in show mode, not campaign mode with COVID, but I mean, you gotta consider the value of, I mean, you can literally use StreamYard on a cell phone and travel anywhere and use it and connect in, and we can use that for so many different methods and tools. But so what would you classify as that? I'd say libertarian leaning podcast, more like your grunge journalist.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's, I mean, like I said, I've if you're not used to software, if you're if you're a stay-at-home parent, if you're somebody who has a business brand and you're not using StreamYard, you're really missing out, because you're stuck doing, you could be broadcasting to all your socials, you could be broadcasting to, and so instead of making a bunch of lives that, dedicated to one platform, diversify yourself, and so, but this is the main one for me. I love the fact that you can actually bring comments into this. We have comment contests every show. We have things we do to make it fun. I mean, our show is unique. I really do feel like we have a unique show. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's live, and that the fact that StreamYard is facilitating such an incredible way to host a conversation online. So, again, I could always bring it back to how much I'm thankful for your guys' software.
Awesome.
So
no, really glad to hear that. And I want to answer your other question real quick. And it's, how do I create a call-in show? So I would say that's the easiest way that I would do it is I would use an external mixer. That's like an external mixer, such as like a Rodecaster Pro or a Zoom PodTrack P8. And there's a reason why. So the reason I would use that is because, so that's what I use. I have a Rodecaster Pro. It's one thing plugged directly into my computer, and then my phone is plugged directly into the Rodecaster. It has a phone option. So you can connect your phone via Bluetooth to take phone calls that way. There's also a 3.5 millimeter jack as well. So you can bring in calls from your phone directly into the Rodecaster, and they come in as a separate channel. So this way, if somebody happens to be if you're using the StreamYard Pro account and you happen to have individual audio enabled, at the end, you're going to end up with all of those separate tracks available. The other benefit to this, though, is, it's very easy for people to then make that, you could have like a Google Voice number, you could use FaceTime, whatever you want to use. They call directly into your phone. It comes into the Rodecaster, and then it can come right into StreamYard. There's nothing else you need there at that point.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the advice. That answers my questions, and I'll let you guys get back to your show. I'm glad I got it live. I always like to tune in to get some advice, and I'm glad that I could do that today. So thank you guys, Leticia, Christian. Have a great day.
You.
Very welcome. Thank you very much, CJ. Very cool. That was awesome, actually. So I, by the way, if you guys see me, like I'm stopping, I'm making notes of things, it's because I'm making notes on everything you guys are asking. So, if you're like, hey, I got a feature request, or, I come across, and I like bringing you guys on because I like to learn about your channels that you're using.
Exactly. So we're typing away, y'all. And we have a celebrity that just joined us.
Who is this celebrity we just have?
Matt.
Mr. Matt Schick. Yeah, let's go and bring Matt Schick on, actually.
Let's bring him on.
Go ahead, Leticia.
Oh, we're both so excited. We're clicking.
Celebrity. I'm looking for the celebrity. I don't know who the celebrity is, but I'm such a fan of you guys. I stumbled upon this going live. I'm so what a fun show this is. Thanks for bringing me on.
Anytime. By the way, Matt helped us produce the first Livestream Success Summit that we just did this past week. So if you saw how the show went, I mean, it was amazing. Just everything runs really smoothly. I mean, there's a lot involved in it. He also writes for the StreamYard blog, by the way. So probably seen some of his articles as well. But Matt, it's fantastic having you join us.
Yeah, thanks so much. I was stumbling by and I heard CJ's question about how to do a call-in show. So I want to give some thoughts on what I do, because I use this quite a bit. If I have a client, I do a lot of corporate events and a lot of things where clients have last minute changes. They can't have somebody come into the stream. So they ask me the same question. How do we do a call-in show? So I use a software mixer. Christian gave some great recommendations for hardware mixers. I use Loopback. So I can actually show you, I can do a screen share if you want to pull up one half of this right now, how it looks. Because basically what you do, I'll just kind of explain I'll show you, here, you put this on screen and I'll show you kind of what this looks like. What you want to do is let's assume that you have people coming into a Zoom call. So you can give somebody a Zoom phone number. They call into the Zoom call. Now what you do is in Loopback, you're capturing the Zoom audio, the phone, right? Their voice, everything there. You're capturing the speaker from Zoom and you're putting it in as your microphone into StreamYard. And then likewise in StreamYard, you're taking the speaker and you're sending that out over to Zoom. So that way there's no delay. Everyone in Zoom can hear everything in StreamYard, and everyone in StreamYard can hear everyone in Zoom. Both kind of go hand in hand, and you can have a great conversation at that same time with no latency whatsoever. So definitely take a peek at this. I'll show you right now. If you call up my screen share right now, Leticia's loving this.
By the way, actually, I think she froze. I think she accidentally froze or something, but I got it fantastic.
Screenshot.
I thought that was actually her reaction.
I just thought she was blown away by the technology.
I was too.
Yeah.
So hopefully she'll come back in here. I think she dropped, but you want me to bring the screenshot up?
Yeah, bring the screenshot up just so I could show you one half of this if CJ's still still interested. So right here you can see I've got my Yeti microphone. That's currently what I'm using. That would be patched in. And then also there's the Zoom, right? So any audio that would be coming through Zoom would be coming right into Loopback. And then what I do is I just set this source. In this case, I called it new because I was troubleshooting at the time, and I would select new as the microphone into StreamYard. So what that would allow me to do is I could talk in StreamYard because you see Yeti Nano is one of the feeds going into the output that's called new, and also the Zoom feed would go into StreamYard as well. So I could have a conversation. I could also bring the Zoom feed in, and everyone in StreamYard would be able to hear that. Now, what you'd want to do is on the bottom left where it says new virtual device. Here, we'll do this right now. Why not? Let me click on a new virtual device. Let's just call it, I'll say StreamYard to Zoom. So for the other version, what you'd want to do is you want to select a source and you click on Google Chrome. And what Google Chrome is going to do, that's what I'm using right now, is any vocal. So for example, Christian, talk for a moment.
Okay, I'll keep talking. Yes.
You see see how the levels jump up and down. It's live capturing anything that's coming from Google Chrome. And now I can select, let's call it the StreamYard to Zoom. I can select this as the microphone in Zoom. So that way everyone in Zoom is hearing everything live from Christian, and vice versa. Everyone in StreamYard is hearing the caller right from Zoom. So that's what I typically use whenever I want to kind of seamlessly connect the two. It's worked really well for me, and it's a great kind of just last minute emergency way of getting someone into the stream. And the other thing you could do, sorry, CJ, this is a very long-winded answer to your question, is I use like virtual cameras. So right now you're looking at a hardware camera. I'm just on my FaceTime HD camera, but you can use something like Ecamm Live or ManyCam or OBS. So what you could do is you can make a slide right here that says, instead of seeing me, it could say like on the phone and have a picture of the person. So now you're hearing them because you as the host or the producer is bringing their audio in via how we just discussed this. But also you can on screen have a still static slide of that person, and it could say on the phone. And that way you really get like the best of all worlds. You see them, you see their face, it says they're on the phone, you hear their audio. So there's no like rogue audio coming from somewhere. You always know where that feed is coming from. So just something I've done that's worked really well because, yeah, you're right. There's no built-in functionality just yet, although I know they're working on a ton of great features at StreamYard. So CJ, I hope that 10-minute answer made some sense and that you can utilize some of that for your next shows.
And Loopback is it $80, $100?
I forget. It was the best investment ever. I mean, you do it once and then you have that software. I actually have it on multiple devices now. You can use the software code on multiple devices. Yeah, the company is Rogue Amoeba, and they also have a great sister program that's called Audio Hijack.
Which one? Because I have the whole suite. And there's Rogue Amoeba, there's Audio Hijack, there's Loopback, there's Farrago. So for somebody who wants like a soundboard, all that software, and it all integrates together.
We're just nerding out over here, guys. We're just
I'm loving it.
Audio
is Mac
hijack
only,
is great.
right?
The best use that I've found for audio hijack is a lot of times when you come on and you're using a fancy schmancy camera, like something, maybe it's a mirrorless or DSLR, and you're using a capture card or HDMI. What happens is HDMI is it's not a great connection. So the video feed often gets slowed down ever so slightly. So what happens is you need to actually delay the audio to sync up perfectly with the video. So audio hijack, you can actually put that minor delay on there and feed that out. So if you're the tiniest bit out of sync, a few frames, and you never knew how to fix that, if you're on Apple, definitely recommend investing in that suite. Like Christian said, audio hijack's a great way of just moving that sync a tiny bit, so your mouth and your audio will be perfectly lined up.
And so that's a Mac program. Now, in terms of a PC, what would you use there?
That's a great question. OBS probably. OBS was designed for PC. If you're not familiar, it's Open Broadcast System. What does it stand
my
for?
notebook.
Yeah.
Hold
I
on.
don't know what the S stands for. This says OBS. That's helpful.
Yeah, I think so.
It's an amazing suite. It's free. It's open source, and you could just do anything with it. It's basically, you can do live streams. You can go directly to to any destination. It's almost like StreamYard, but a lot like more complicated. The great thing about StreamYard is you've got a few buttons to press. It's a bit templatized, so you've got your layouts like this, or where we're all vertical, or where the content's on screen. OBS has no limits, so you can design things wherever you want, put people wherever you want. But it's also a lot more complicated, and there's a much bigger learning curve. I love StreamYard just because of the ease of use. I talk about StreamYard to everyone I know. I've got my my puddle duck proudly sitting on my desk. Right,
I don't even have one of those, man.
I don't have a duck yet.
You gotta get one. They're great. Oh, they're so
my
gosh. Wait until the dog sees this. It's gonna be.
It's gonna love that.
So I mean, StreamYard is definitely what I barely use OBS. Occasionally, we'll use it just for little projects here and there. But I do know that you can delay the audio on that. Also, if you're using an 810 mini, which I know you specifically are, Christian, there's a delay in the audio if you update to the later versions of the software as well. So a lot of people are using 810 minis. You can slightly put a delay on there.
Nice. Fantastic, by the way. Thanks a lot for joining us. And
thanks for having me.
For sharing that great demo. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Great seeing you. Such a fan of you both, and congratulations on the summit. It was so great working with you both.
Matt. You're amazing.
No, you guys are amazing. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Fantastic, by the way. So, Leticia, I know Steven's here waiting to come on screen. Did drop the link as well, by the way. If you want to come on and join us, and we want you to, by the way, that's the whole point of us doing this. We want you to come on, talk with us. We can get to know more about you, answer some of those questions directly. Would love it if you would join. By the way, I did see, I think it was Tanya was trying to join Leticia. I don't know if you have a way to message her and let her know, hey, we'll bring her on when she comes back. I don't know if she was driving or if she just lost the signal or whatnot on her end. But I want to get a couple of questions here. And we got some really good questions, by the way, from our viewers. So Peggy is asking, and I'm going to bring this up. I can't for the life of me figure out how to make a background with two transparent squares for a guest to be on exactly like you have showing now. Okay. So Peggy, you have two different types of designs here. So for example, a background is literally what is behind us. There's no cutouts or anything for our video feed. For example, when we bring Matt on, like nothing changed. It's literally the background. Like it's kind of like what's behind me. That's the background. Right. And so this could be a gray wall. It could be blue. It could be yellow, red, doesn't matter. Whatever you design it as, you upload it to the background section under the brands in your StreamYard dashboard. And the size is 1280 by 720. And it can be anything you want. Now, the thing I would caution you against is making it really busy, putting a lot of text on it. Because, for example, I brought your comment in, and that might hide the background. Now, conversely, there's also something called an overlay. And an overlay is where, if you wanted to, you can get very elaborate with your boxes. I'll just bring this one up, for example. This one's probably not going to match as actually not. Here we go. We got this one actually. So there's actually an overlay I just brought up. You can't really see it because your comment actually is covering it. But if I turn that off, it says like and subscribe. So for example, I got Leticia and I on screen. I took a screenshot of this area, and then I went to my favorite graphics program and then just built around that. And an overlay is going to go over top of your video feeds.
Right.
So for example, if you're going to keep the standard 2-person layout like this and not switch a lot, you may bring an overlay up where it's got really fancy boxes and all sorts of other stuff on it.
Yeah, to test it
So,
out first. Yeah.
but yeah, that's an overlay. And there's lots of different ones. Here's a separate one. This is one we have within your StreamYard dashboard. And literally all this is being live with StreamYard and the StreamYard live show, for example. Those are graphics, and then everything else is transparent. So when it's brought in as an overlay, it doesn't hide Leticia, it doesn't hide myself, any guest, and so forth. So that's how that works.
Right.
So let's see. So we got that comment. Let's see what else we got here, Leticia.
I see Anna's comment. She said, should my guests wear earphones? I see all of you guys have earphones. Absolutely. It definitely helps, you know, because then you're hearing less echoing and the noise that's like around in your area. So I use these headphones just to hear Christian and to hear all of you guys who join the panel. So I don't talk through this headset. I talk through my mic. So it does help me to not talk loud, because without the earphones, when I watch the replays, I'm noticing I'm talking louder because I'm trying to match his voice. But having the earphones in, it's just much better that way to avoid the echoing and stuff.
And I may not look like, I don't think I look like I have headphones on. Maybe I do. I don't know. How about this? Let's take a poll. Do you think I have headphones on right now? So let's just leave a comment.
Yes, no, maybe
do I have headphones or not? So, and by the way, Carl here saying, so hard to get people to wear them though. Absolutely. Matt Schick saying, you know, I use my one iMac monitor, have a second monitor. And so he's talking more about content, but okay. So Jaden saying no, Adam saying yes. Adam, we know you've been here a while, and Albert as well. The answer is yes. I'm wearing headphones. I'm wearing in-ear monitors. So I'm going to just turn my head sideways. And so you'll see they go in my ear like this. They go over my ear. And then in this case, I have a cable, and they're literally just running down my back. And I have a 6-foot extension cable on it. So basically, this allows me to be able to move around while we're doing the show. But I've got headphones on. These come in, these are black, but they also have clear ones. There's some that are skin colored as well, or skin toned and whatnot as well. But you can really vary the ones, but they are wired. They also make wireless ones. I don't necessarily use the wireless ones. And the reason is because even though they give me some freedom of movement, there are chances that if you ever connect a wired or wireless headphone to something, it may disconnect in the middle of your show because another device happened to come on or things like that. So I always use wired. That way I'm going directly into my products. So that's the reason I use that. But in terms of getting people to wear headphones, it's your show. You have to remember that.
They should wear it.
So if people aren't wearing headphones, here's the other thing that will happen sometimes. People will not wear headphones, and then they'll play the sound out of their laptop, and their microphone's right here. So what's happening is the sound is coming out. Maybe it's bouncing off the wall and coming right back into the mic, and you're hearing an echo. And it makes it really hard to actually follow the conversation, especially from a speaker or a host standpoint. So you want to make sure you encourage everyone who is going to be on your show to wear headphones, because you want to be comfortable as the host or co-host, and you want your guests to be comfortable as well. But you also want to make sure that the sound is the best that it can be. So for example, if the person without headphones, it can be distracting because you get echo. So always try and wear headphones, and you don't have to get, in-ear monitors. These actually are pretty inexpensive, like $50 or $60. You can even get $16 ones. They work great. They actually block out of the noise, and then they actually they make you look professional, more professional on screen.
Right. That's very
cool.
true. Let's do a couple more questions, but we have Stephen on. Let's go Sue with Joanne said, any tips for running? I'm sorry. Any tips on running a retreat via StreamYard? I know Christian has some awesome ideas, but I've ran retreats before and I streamed them live. I can honestly say the biggest mistake I done is like not having everybody mic'd up, because on the replay, all the sound, every sound, all the bouncing off the walls, and when people started to talk over each other a little bit, sound was just really horrible. It's so bad I can't even refurbish it again and use it for something else. So I wish I had everyone mic'd up, early on, and then started the stream, but I know, Christian, you have some suggestions on equipment that you blew my mind away on the show that you and I do together. weekly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in terms of running a retreat, are we talking about like a virtual conference? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you talking about live?
Okay, so for a retreat, and I think that's what you're meaning, I would use. I don't know if you checked out our parent company, Hopin.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we actually used for our live stream success summit we just did this past Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely check out something like that. And in terms of running a retreat via stream, I mean that's gonna be one of the best ways because it's going to allow you to basically, for example, we were in StreamYard and we were bringing it into our Hopin broadcast, and we had breakout rooms, we had stages, we have networking. There's like a sponsors area, so you can build an entire conference using the Hopin platform and using StreamYard as your live streaming software of choice.
Right.
So it works together extremely well.
Extremely well.
So I want to bring up another comment, by the way, and this one is actually from Elaine, and Tanya, by the way, we'll make sure we bring you on here as well in a second. So Elaine is asking, I'd like to be able to bring on screen people that are commenting without having to send them the link. So interesting feature request. Here's the thing. I will make a note of it. One thing I'm not terribly a fan of that. And here's the reason why, because one of the things that Leticia and I always tell people when we bring them on screen, we ask everyone to turn on their webcam, so that we can see you. And the downside to just bringing somebody on is you really don't know who you're bringing on, for example, or what you're even going to see, and that goes out to your audience. So you want to at least have a rough idea of who's coming on. For example, there's been times where like we've had people on that were like, oh, hey, we've seen that person on another show, and like you'll get trolls and things like that come in.
Yes, you will.
So,
believe it or not, you will. And I mean, I wouldn't risk my content, somebody jumping in and saying something inappropriate or what have you. You want to have that control, because I tried to advocate for even having the comments scroll up on the screen instead of me having to pin it up. But now I had to think like, no, because what if like, it's no way I could control it. And yes, I do have moderators on all my channels and stuff, but what if they miss something? So I like the fact of let's retract the negative comments or the trolls with the moderators doing that on their end and having somebody, a producer on the back end, putting up comments that are relevant to the show. So
yeah, and it is a really good, I will say the one part that you do mention that I really like is, instead of having to send them a link, being able to just click on them from comments. That would actually be a really good idea, because then that's a little bit less that you have to send somebody out. So I do like that part. So I made a note. So thanks for the suggestion. We really appreciate it.
Right.
Okay, I want to take one more question real quick, and then we're going to bring on
Steven looks good. He looks like he's focused.
Okay, I couldn't tell if I'm like, man, you're like super like calm.
I love it.
You guys can see this. I mean, he's been sitting there like this, and I'm like, is that a screen? Is that like, is it a?
Are you trading on the stock market right
now? And by the way, NLTMW, I want to thank you as well. You're asking for pinned comments. Definitely noted. Greatly appreciate that recommendation. Okay, so Stephen Wicks has a question real quick, and it's: do you think it's okay to go live with no particular topic? Like, could the title be just hanging out? What do you think, Leticia?
Not all the time, though. Like, I get it. Like, I do my car chat sometimes. It's just like, I'm just, without my kids in the car, because I don't really like to have my children on my live with me too much. But I would do a car chat, and it's just me, going to McDonald's or the Starbucks or something like that. And that's just like in the moment, like my thoughts, just generic. But me personally, I wouldn't do it so much all the time. You want to have an idea of what you're going to be talking about, a topic plus talking points and things like that. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
And I do get why people want to get into that, because again, they probably see a lot of influencers do it who have such a massive amount of following. So they're like, oh, let me just do some of these random live shows. But again, they have a following that will follow them, whether they talking garbage or whether they talking good stuff. So if you're just getting started, or if you want to pivot, or if you want to really, when people come on your shows, you want them to take you seriously, you got to be organized with topics and talking points.
Yeah, and on that same topic there, to Leticia's point, for example, if somebody has a really, really big audience, people will follow them regardless. Now, the other thing that's also present there is scarcity. And so, you have people that they're going live like 24/7, 24/7. So the downside to that, though, is that it's almost overexposure. It's like you want to, and there's a very fine line. You want to be able to, be live enough, but not to the point where you're on so much that people get tired of that. And so, in this case, if you're somebody who's just starting out and you don't have a following and just be like, hey, I'm just hanging out. Like I would if it were me, I would be more focused on the topics and putting quality topics out. And then as your audience gets really, really large, at that point, that's when I would pull back on how frequent I go live, because that creates that scarcity. So that then when you do say, hey, I'm just hanging out, and people are like, people clamor to just be on the same stream as a really big influencer, then it will have more meaning, I think, at that point.
100%. When I first started to go live, I was going live 4 to 5 times a day. But that was because I was just trying to get out there on the scene, and I wanted people to really know my presence. But after a while, once I, left my corporate job, became a full-time entrepreneur, I started to scale back. And I don't even know how I did 4 or 5 times a day. But each time I came on, I had to run a show. I had a topic. It was very, like 1% of the time, it would just be a random conversation, but all the other times I literally planned out everything I was going to talk about. So my analogy back then was like, either you have time or money. I didn't know much about Facebook ads back then, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna show up more than my competitors do. Yeah, that was my whole mindset with the whole thing. Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's a balance. So if you're on there too much, it's gonna balance. You got to find that balance. And the thing is, if you're just getting started, you want to be very mindful of your time, because you're going to burn out very fast. If you're, I'm going live 7 days a week, for example, and I'm trying to balance my regular life and my regular job and my family and a social life, for example. Like you're going to really burn yourself out just trying to do so much. That does happen. Yeah.
So you got to find some balance there. Cindy, by the way, Mirapole has a question here about getting more viewers on Facebook and YouTube. We'll get right back to that, because I saw you have a couple of questions there, and Scott's got a question as well. But I want to bring on Steven because, Steven's been super patient waiting for us backstage, and Eric, you're going to be next as well. Yeah. So let's go and bring on Steven, Leticia.
Absolutely.
Hey, there I am.
Hey, Steven.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great.
Thanks for being patient.
Hey, no problem. First of all, I want to say congratulations on the summit. That was amazing. I really enjoyed it. Leticia, you did a wonderful job.
Thank
Christian,
you.
You guys rock.
Thank you very much.
So
it really means a lot. What was your favorite part, by the way, or favorite session?
Ooh, well, I really enjoyed the sessions, the part that I caught in terms of building community.
Yes.
Seth Godin had a lot of good things to say as well, just in terms of having your strategy for going live. That was actually my question that you guys just read. So I feel like I'm taking up a lot of real estate here on the show.
Okay.
but it was I really was interested more about building community, using different tools like Facebook and just using the live streaming as a strategy for building community. That's really what I was trying to get out of that conference.
So I'd say, in terms of, and we can play off this with Cindy's question here as well. She was asking how to get more viewers on Facebook and YouTube. So very similar things. So I think the first thing is don't spread yourself too thin. A lot of people, they, and this is like having come from a social media marketing background. A lot of people, what they will do is, they get the advice of like, be everywhere on social media. And the thing is, if someone's just getting started, that's it. It sounds okay. Well, I'll join these things. And then what people start to do is they start to realize that's not the actual right answer. The right answer should be get a presence on all of the social media channels, but focus on 1 to 2 and get really good at those, and then branch out into the others. And, there is going to be some testing involved. So for example, if you're not sure if your audience is on YouTube or Facebook, one thing you can do is you can use the multi-streaming feature within StreamYard. So, for example, you could stream out to a Facebook page and a YouTube channel. And then what you can do is, A, look at your analytics, but B, let's say you decide you want to push people to YouTube. You can start your broadcast on Facebook and YouTube. And then in your broadcast, you can cut the Facebook one, for example, so that it drives them to YouTube. So that way they're
Mhm.
going to one place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I would try. I mean, in terms of, and in terms of building community, it's, again, I mean, I feel like we're doing that here a lot of times too, where I
Yeah.
keep seeing a lot of the same people tuning in every week. And,
That's right.
it's being consistent with what you're doing, but then making tweaks behind the scenes to make
That's
sure
right.
that you're constantly improving things. Like if it's YouTube, optimizing the title, the description, the tags, so that that video is not getting seen by just the subscribers, but by people searching on YouTube. Because that is an indicator to YouTube what the video is about. And then, for example, you know how we're doing prompts in the video to ask people to comment and all that other stuff. Those are also prompts, because when YouTube sees that, they then like to take notice and
Right.
show and send it out to people.
That's right. That's right.
So
For me, it boils down to your content, and that's something that we constantly have to remember. Like, why should people watch you? How are you different from everyone else who does what you do? And what is the impact that you're going to provide? So me personally, I'm really huge on community. I'm more even bigger on building a movement. So when I show up for places, whether it be virtual summits, live shows and things like that, my ladies come on, they do the hashtag LBA, do the hashtag focus, because that's a movement that I have built. And movements are like such an amazing opportunity for you to sort of spread your wings more and stuff. So, community building is so important, but it boils down to your content. It boils down to that. Once people fall in love with your content, they're going to fall in love with your movement. And that's how it is. Like, do what you say you're going to do, really call people out. Like when I first started live streaming, I welcome every single person on my live, even if it was just one person on. I had a conversation with people on my live. I say, like, this morning I had a young lady that joined my live that I haven't seen literally in 2 months. And I say, hey, Linda, where you been, girl? I haven't seen you in forever. So having that memory of the people who joined, they could be watching anything else, but they decided to watch you. So make it an experience for them. And then once they see that you are actually care, that they're there, then they're going to start to go on Facebook or go on Instagram and try to look up, where can they follow you? Because now it's like that know, like, and trust factor, guys, it's a strategy that will stand the test of time. So you building that up, and yes, we want to go live. We want to get through our content and things like that, but also bring people into the conversation that are showing up for you every day, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be your raving fans. Be your raving fan. So that's really big on me. It's like movement building is really huge. Maybe you could start a membership club or something like that, to where it starts to build up that movement so that people can constantly stay loyal to you every single month. So yeah.
great. What do you have any other questions for us, Stephen? Do these help?
Yeah, I just had a real technical question real quick. So as you're switching through the scenes, with the different layouts, there's one layout with the large camera and then the other small cameras on the side.
Like this?
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, are you able to control which camera is the large camera before you go to that scene?
I don't think I actually can. Let me go back to this. I'm going to go back here. Let me reposition Leticia. By the way, I'm just repositioning people by dragging them around on screen, if you've not seen that. Okay, we're going to put Leticia there. Okay, so it looks like, and let me swap you. Let's put you in the first spot. Let's see. I'm assuming you're going to go to the top. Yeah. So the best way, from what I can gather there, is that I think it's going to be whoever's in position 1 becomes the big, large one.
That's what I do.
So,
that's what you, okay.
So for example, I click it now. Yeah, now I'm large. So that's the way I'm doing it. So basically I'm putting whoever it is in this top camera here on this side.
Upper left square. Yep.
There it is.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I'll make notes of everything else as well. But yeah, it's a good idea there.
All righty. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
I didn't collapse being on such a large platform.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Steve. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
you. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks,
All right,
bye.
goodbye.
Awesome. That was some great
Fantastic.
questions.
Yeah. So let's take a couple more questions real quick, and then we're going to bring Eric in. And then I don't know if Tanya's going to join us, but feel free to drop the link, by the way, Leticia, in the comments for people that want to join. Okay. So let's see. So Cindy's asking, can StreamYard viewers audience be notified about shows? So the way that I would do this is, if somebody is, for example, like let's say you're scheduling a broadcast out to Facebook, what I would do is I would create a Facebook event, and I think they've changed this recently, but I'd create a Facebook event, copy and paste my StreamYard show link. So, for example, the one from Facebook into that, and then the benefit there is that people will go and they'll say like they're going to. I mean, that would actually notify them about a show. That would actually help them potentially notify their friends. The other side to that is, in terms of notifying them about shows, you want to encourage your audience on your social media channels. You want to encourage them to turn on notifications on a Facebook page. So, for example, if you're going to a Facebook page, there is an option. Let me see if I can actually pull this up. Let me make sure it's still there, actually. So you want to go to the page and you want to actually just make sure ensure or encourage them to have notifications on, so they are going to get notified. Facebook doesn't always do it. So then that's where I know one thing I like to do is I like to actually, so once I schedule my StreamYard broadcast, I will then compose an email through my email marketing service, and I send those links out to my viewers. So I send them an email, like I set up maybe 2 emails. The first email is, hey, I got a new live show coming up on whatever the date is. Here's the topic. And I give them, in this case, I give them 2 links. I give them the Facebook link and the YouTube link in the email. Right. And then I can behind the scenes see which one people are clicking. So that's the first thing I do. Now, the second thing I also do with that is I set up a follow-up email and say something to the effect of like, starting, going live in 15 minutes, see you soon, or something like that. And again, it's the same links that I give them, but it's an additional prompt. And then that way, if people are, not getting notifications on social, because for example, if you happen to have Facebook open on mobile and desktop at the same time, Facebook will sometimes not send that notification, or sometimes they just don't send the notification at all. Yeah. So that's one thing. If it's YouTube, encourage them to subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and make sure they hit that notification bell as well. Yeah. So
as you was talking, I was writing down, conversation. If you're streaming and you are, again, like I was saying earlier, you're talking to the people who are watching, even if they're not following you, the Facebook algorithms will do even YouTube would do all the work for you and literally feature your content in front of them. But again, you got to pull, ask, hey guys, what do you think about this topic? Or, like Christian said, type in yes if you think I'm wearing headphones right now. Start that conversation, so that way, Facebook, YouTube knows that, hey, this person wants to continuously see your content. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So I'm taking one more question. You picked the question. I've got Cindy's question here. Mazel was asking, I think this is the same type of question. What's the best way to get viewers on your YouTube channel? The key thing is going to be optimization.
That's right.
It's going to be, you could have the best content in the world, but if you're not doing the optimization part, i.e. your title, your description, and relevant tags aren't as important, but all those 3 things, YouTube likes to know what your video is about. And so when you put, for example, the title in, we talked about this earlier, don't just put your show name in there or the episode. Tell people what the topic's going to be about. Be very deliberate with what your topic is about. And then the description will have, some additional things that are related to it. And then the tags. And by the way, if you look through the StreamYard YouTube videos, you'll see, because I manage the StreamYard YouTube channel, you'll see the titles and the descriptions and the tags. You only see the titles and the descriptions that we use. So, that can hopefully help you there. And in terms of getting people on your channel, it's about publishing good content. So content that they want to see. Don't just go live for the sake of going live just because you want to. Have a purpose behind why you are going live.
And have patience, y'all. Have patience.
So, Leticia, you want to bring on Eric now?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's bring him on.
Hey.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Good.
Great. And yourself?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me in the show.
Thanks for being patient, by the way. Again, we got a few people here backstage as well, so thank you.
No problem. So I'll make this short. So I'm a pretty new user of StreamYard. I've been using it now for about 2 months for my live shows. done about 4 or 5 live shows, and so I actually did tell Gage this the other day in one of the town halls. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you run the show without, of course, you got to go to brand and turn on something, or go to comments, or go to your questions, and then you go and click on the shows. So there's a lot of fumbling around as a producer, as a solo producer, that you have to go in different locations and different tabs to go ahead and continue your show. What's a good strategy for solo producers to go ahead and do the show and not be looking like doing this every single time that you're clicking on something? So that was kind of my question to you guys.
Very good question. Leticia, do you want to take this one, or?
Well, definitely having a run a show is important. Like, what are you going to talk about when? And I don't see the problem with, if you're a solo, producer, having to seem like, okay, you're going from your comments to your overlays to your banners and things like that. I think a lot of times we overthink that process, and that you're just getting started. So you're going to have to do a little bit of moving around. So simplicity is everything, when it comes to streaming, especially if you're doing it alone. So that's something that's important. But I'm always saying, have that run a show, have that blueprint, so that way you're not seeming like you're all over the place.
I have my run a show written down and everything. I have all the things that I do. But one of the things that we talked to Gage in the last town hall was hotkeys. So having hotkeys so that you have, maybe the keypad or something like that, so that you can go between tabs, so that it makes it easier for you, as well as maybe have kind of a dashboard, if you will, on your producer where you're looking at, so you can see the more important things that you want to be able to do. So if you have questions that you've pre-prepared, not have to go to that tab, or if you see the chats, you got to go to the chat side. So having those hotkeys to be able to flip without me looking here and just hey, how are you?
Yeah.
So yes, those two feature requests are something big, and I hear a lot of people doing that. And so that's one, and the other one is, of course, the integration of the audio. The similar thing that we do with OBS to do the virtual camera, but also being able to send audio directly into like a virtual audio, to use something like, I was sitting here screaming because you guys were talking with Matt about the audio, and I'm like, yeah, what about PC users?
and it's voice. So, and I know from that perspective, a lot of us, like, I lean towards loopback. I've been using it for quite a few years, not just because I love Macs, but like there is the voice meter side. So I will say this, Eric, I've been working on getting us a lot more voice meter articles and videos. So there actually are a few on the YouTube channel right now. And I've got a few more that are already ready to go. I'm just getting a couple of things situated for those. In terms, here's the other thing. I'll give you guys some like little tricks of things that I'm doing. So this is, and I don't know if this is a bug, but my friend Mel turned me onto this. So there is sort of a hotkey, I guess, and it's the fact that, like, if you happen, and I don't know if this is in there as a like accidental or what, but if, for example, let's say you go into brand and you turn something on. So I'm going to turn on like what we might give away today, for example. I have found that if I hit the space bar, it will actually turn that off. I don't know if you've tried that. So neat little trick there.
Mel told me that yesterday.
Yes.
We stumble on things as we're using it.
And here's the thing. In terms of trying to do this stuff by yourself, I've been doing my own show for I don't know how many years. It's like I run the longest social media marketing news talk show, and it's one of those things where I've been doing it by myself, and I have a co-host, but it's one of those things where with a co-host, like, you have to also be sort of on the same wavelength. Like, for
Yes.
example, you'll see Leticia and I sometimes, like, she might bring somebody on and I accidentally click to bring them off because we haven't been talking through that.
Yeah, and
So,
she freezes with that face. No.
by the way, Leticia, we got a great, I didn't screenshot that one, but it was pretty awesome.
Thank you.
We were like, oh, wow. We're like, we thought you were really excited about like the feature that Matt was talking about, the call-in show. So what I like to do, Eric, is I will echo what Leticia said. It's keeping things simple.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing is, so one thing you'll see, for example, you know, I don't always do this, but like, let's say I want to like drink some water, for example, and I don't want to look awkward on camera. What I will sometimes do is then I will bring, for example, you up, and then I will behind the scenes
Drink your
and
drink.
then I'll bring you back on. Yes. And so I do the same thing though, for example, for screens. So if I want to switch a screen share, I've already got like what my run of show is. And then, for example, I have I'll throw an overlay up and I'll still talk through it as behind the scenes, I'm clicking to bring things up.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So that's kind of what I've been doing because my topic is very complicated. I do online cybersecurity, online safety, online safety, anti-bullying, and things like that. So for me, it's a lot of screen sharing, a lot of video playing, and I'm using Chrome to do the long videos, and doing a lot of screen sharing. And then I bring guests in, famous cybersecurity personnel in there, and we bring them in to discuss a topic like the Facebook hack or, the thing that happened with LinkedIn last week. So that's the channel. So go check it out, of course.
We will.
Awesome.
I wrote it down.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. Go ahead.
But StreamYard has helped me be able to send that to LinkedIn, to Facebook, and I find that my communities are mixed. I want to grow my YouTube channel, but I have communities over in Facebook. I have communities in LinkedIn and in Twitter now. And hopefully the Twitter live thing, gets better. But I have distinct communities in different areas. The professional community, I have the friends and family community, I've got the Facebook group, so I'm trying. That's one of the reasons that I love StreamYard is the multicasting.
Yes.
But what I find is that number one, there's still the issue with the groups and the chats and stuff like that with Facebook. But bringing all of that in here and being able to use, the different things that I do, because I used to be a pure OBS person, but the multicasting was a pain. So now that I'm using StreamYard almost 100%, is how do I, like I mentioned, it's the run of show. I used to love having the scenes ready, all queued up, everything ready that I was going to need. And now, bringing that into StreamYard would be a great thing because then we can do the shows here. We can do the shows. I've got a studio over here. I've got another studio down the street. So it's being able to use it, and being new to this is... it's a great simple thing where I could jump in and do a show real quick when something big happens and you see it on the news. Hey, Facebook got hacked. Okay, I jump on and I explain to my viewers, do this, change this, do your safety, change your
so
safe
you're
settings.
you do it like in the moment, like when updates come in, you're on. Maybe adding commercials every now and again. I started doing that with one of my shows. As I'm switching things over and I'm pulling up like different overlays. Is that me with that noise? Is that me, Christian?
That's me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I think that's your computer fan, right?
Nah, somebody's cleaning the carpets.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Okay.
It's okay.
No,
It's okay.
that's an excellent. I gotta say that's an excellent point, Leticia, to play potentially a commercial in between things, Eric. For example, because then that does give you that small break. It's the same thing for if you watch an award show.
Yeah.
You have a scene where the person comes on stage, they're presenting something. In between that, they cut to a video. For example, there's a video playing that gives them time to move that person off for the next scene or things like that. So, little sort of sleight of hands that go on there. I like the idea of doing a commercial because then that does allow you to, have something like a tip you could share even or things like that.
A transition.
That's different, and then it allows you to kind of go into things. But keeping it simple is the key thing. And like I said, I made notes about your request for hotkey support. So I don't know exactly where.
You know, it's hard when you have a complex theme, a complex. You know, you try to keep it as simple as possible, but it's how do you simplify something like that? So for me, that's. Well, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. And thank you very, very much for everything you guys do for the community. And thank you for having me in the show.
Anytime.
And one last thing for you. Do me a favor. Send me an email.
Yes.
So send me an email, marketing@streamyard.com. Just say, hey, like subject line could be something like, Eric Bellardo from Livestream Reviews or on Livestream Reviews. Just send me an email and send me a link to your show as well. I want to tell me what your show is about and also send me a direct link to it. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Search my name and you'll find it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're welcome. That was awesome. I love learning about all of the shows that you all are doing.
Yes. It's amazing.
I got to say this. I mean, I love seeing all of the, we get all these repeat viewers every single week. And I love that. And then and then all of a sudden we get people that I'm like, hey, I haven't seen them on yet.
Yeah.
And then they join us and they tell us what the show is about. And I'm always amazed. You all are doing some great work. And again, I mean, what are your challenges as well? I want to know what those are so that I can make sure that we're making the right kind of content for you. And also, things to just help you out. Right. So, let me see what else we got here.
Yeah, let's post some questions.
We got some good questions, by the way. Really good questions.
Yeah.
Leticia, feel free to bring up some questions. By the way, if you haven't yet, if you're on YouTube, click that like button and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified. We've got amazing shows coming up. I know tomorrow we got the Town Hall, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've got Livestream Impact coming up on Monday. I think Wednesday we've got a show I think we're going to do some takeaways from the Livestream Success Summit. Thursday, I think, is StreamYard Spotlight. Friday, I think, is Learn with StreamYard. And then we'd be back here again next Saturday. So do us a favor. Make sure you click that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Okay, Leticia, feel free to bring up some comments here.
Okay, we have Kim. He said, I stream music concerts from my studio. Recently, video is choppy and guitar sounds like they are underwater. Any changes to the technology?
So my first question would be, have you streamed successfully and not had choppy internet or choppy video in this case, and the guitar sounding like they're underwater? I will say this. The type of microphone you use does impact how the noise will sound. So for example, if you're playing a guitar and you have the wrong type of microphone, it will sound like it's underwater. It's like somebody, for example, plugging in, while we have headphones, for example, that come with our smartphones, they sound good to us. But if you actually go on the other end and listen to someone else, they typically don't actually sound that good.
Yeah.
And they will sound, some of those will sound like they're underwater because of the type of microphone pattern. Like this is, for example, a dynamic mic. So there's different kinds of mics to use. For example, if you're playing a musical instrument, those are going to sound different with the wrong type of mic. They're not going to sound like you want them to sound. So my first question would be on that, in terms of the microphone, what kind of mic are you using? In terms of if anything's changed, nothing has changed that I know of. I can make a note of this and we can see if anything else has changed. And in terms of video choppiness, if you're playing, for example, if you're using the long form video on StreamYard, that's where you click the share button and say share video file. That is uploading from your computer and it's playing that way, versus if you go over to the brands tab and we have video clips there, those are playing from our servers. So if your internet, for example, let's say your computer is an older machine, it may struggle because that's the brain essentially. I like to tell people it's the brain publishing it live. And so if you have a slow computer or doesn't have enough resources, it may run into some issues if you're trying to load a 500 megabyte file.
Right. He's saying that the guitar is going through a soundboard.
Okay. Huh. Do me a favor, Ken. If you haven't yet, I can't remember if you're in our Facebook group. Do me a favor, put a post in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/ StreamYard community. Do me a favor, put a post there, and we can get somebody to like try to work with you on
Help
that.
you out.
And
Yeah.
then also, if you haven't yet, be sure you reach out to StreamYard.com/contact. That's our support side. They have 24/7 chat support there. And I'm sure they also have some recommendations on why that might be happening.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's have another question here. Going Green Mom said earlier you mentioned having a producer deal with comments. Do we have that functionality now? If so, what level of StreamYard?
Okay, so we've got two things actually there. So the first thing is, for example, Leticia and I can both control the comments. And so she essentially is helping me produce the show. And so the way that works is she logs in to StreamYard with the same exact email address I log in with. And when she does that, it generates a code. It gets emailed to me, and then I just have to pass the code over to her. That will allow her to have the same functionality that I have in our StreamYard dashboard. Now, in addition to that, at the Livestream Success Summit, we actually did announce that we have a new feature coming out. This is coming out on, let me see. I think it's coming out in the summer of 2021, and it's StreamYard Teams. And I'm going to actually drop that here in the comments.
Yes.
This is StreamYard Teams, and it's coming in summer 2021. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, that's coming soon. We just wanted to give people a sneak peek of that.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
What other? So hopefully that helps.
Yes. Any thoughts on using green screens during a live show or being more real with a natural background?
You want to take that, Leticia?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't use a green screen. I have one. It's all packaged up.
Same here.
Yes. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I it just overcomplicated things for me, and having to figure out what type of graphic to put on it, and if I was wearing eyeshadow, the eyeshadow would go, it would just, I just got rid of it.
Yeah.
And just have a simple background. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm never going to go back to a green screen. Okay. I never say never, but right now, the way my setup is, I had to ask myself, do I even really need this thing behind me? It was getting to the point where it was another thing that I had to figure out before I hit that go live button. Okay. So like doing this just regular white space and, in the background, that works for me. Now, I say a lot of people have some amazing green screens and it's amazing. Yeah. It's awesome. But if you're getting started again, or if you're trying to form some consistency to your shows, don't add things that's going to either break, or if you're going live, you got to have good lighting. First of all, if you don't have that, and you do a green screen, it's going to be worthless. So I've seen people spend $150 on green screens, and then you see all this fuzz, and they paid no intention or investment in their sound or their lighting, or their camera quality. So it's like choose a starting point that's going to make sense and look great to the people who are watching.
Yep, no, definitely. Yeah. And, here's the thing. I mean, audio is the most important part of your live streams. So focus on the audio, focus on the video, the background. Honestly, I mean, you're going to here's the thing. If you buy a green screen, the one benefit to a green screen is that you can change it and you can add some different things to it, but it also costs a fair amount of money to light that properly.
Yes,
so for example, you need to make sure there's not as much shadow, I think, behind me now, but there is some shadow here. And so you have to figure out your positioning. You have to have the right types of lights. So for example, for green screens, you need a 3-point lighting system. So 1, 2, 3. So that way you're getting everything lit properly. So it's not just like, hey, I put up a green screen and then it's going to look good. There's a lot more to it. And then your camera and all the other stuff associated with it. In that, in terms of that, though, I personally think that it's a lot easier. And I think the trend has actually shifted to where people have physical backgrounds that they're using. So for example, if you're in an office setting, they might put some swag, some merch, or like a sign or things like that behind them. And so it helps break up the background a little bit. So that's what a lot of people will do. And, that's going to cost you a lot less than a green screen will. So I personally, I tend to go, I'd actually recommend the natural look at the moment. The other thing I do is I have a roll up banner that I put up. Usually it goes behind me, and then that helps add, give me a certain look. For example, if there's something behind it, it's not messy office they're seeing. So you do have to kind of figure that sort of stuff out. Okay, so let me go through a couple more of these comments, by the way, here, and then we're going to let Leticia bring someone else on. But let's see. So, okay, so here's a good question. So, and by the way, if we don't get to your question, if we don't answer your question, just know that you can retype it in there, put hashtag asked, and we will work to get to it. So, Marquette is asking, I have a question within the headphones. What about when you have a cooking show with virtual guests? What would you recommend? Because there's a lot of movement involved, of course. So what I would recommend for this, I don't know if you've checked out the Rode Wireless Go 2. It's basically a wireless transmitter. So one of them clips on you and the other one will actually go on your camera or your laptop. And that creates that wireless signal and it allows you to move around freely. So you don't have to have the cable. So that is one option. The other thing is some people will also use for a mic, they'll basically put a microphone on a boom arm and it'll go above you. And so as you're speaking, it's picking up that sound, but it's also picking up all of the other sounds that are potentially around you. But for something like that, what you're doing, I'd probably say, look at the Rode Wireless Go 2. I'd recommend getting that directly from Rode if you can. It's a couple $100 actually for a system, but it's a very good system. It allows you the freedom to move around. You can put it on your laptop, put it on a camera, all the other fun stuff that goes along with it. It also can pick up different channels. So it's a really good wireless product. Let's take one more question and then we're going to bring on our guest here. Actually, I'll take two questions. Kmar is asking, what microphone am I using? This is the Shure SM7B. I hope it sounds good. You'll have to let me know how it sounds in the comments, but I'm using the Shure SM7B. It's on a microphone stand. And then I also have, I'll hold this up real quick. So this little red thing that's here, this is, it's a cloud lifter. And what that does is this microphone doesn't always, like if you just plug this into a mixer, it needs more power. And that's what that little red device does. It gives it a lot more gain, it boosts the sound. So you have to think about that in terms of microphones. If you do buy something like this, you might spend $400 on the microphone, but then it's another $100 or $150 for that cloud lifter. You're looking at almost $600 for the microphone at that point. So it really comes down to, about six something. So it really comes down to how often you're going to use it. So do I need this to start with? No, not at all. I'd recommend getting something like the Samson Q2U. It's a $70 microphone. It works for USB and XLR, and it's actually a really good sounding mic for the price. Let's do one more question I mentioned, and then let's bring in our guest. Let's see. Let me see. Jaden, we're going to get to your, I made a note about your question about StreamYard with Zoom, being able to bring Zoom into StreamYard. So I've got that on our notes. I appreciate that. And then one question here. Lavelle asks, this is a good question, actually. If I schedule a show for a specific time, what happens if I experience hiccups and start a few minutes later than the time I scheduled it for? Now, I want to kind of, I'm going to take a couple of parts of this. So the first thing is Facebook has a rule where when you schedule your stream, if you don't go live within, it's like 9 to 10 minutes, it will actually warn you when you're like 5 minutes out, like 5 minutes away from hitting that. But let's say you happen to go beyond the 10 minutes. Here's the problem that's going to happen. It's actually going to cancel your stream. So Facebook will automatically cancel your stream. And if you've been sending links out to people and all the other fun stuff, they actually won't be able to get to your broadcast because it actually won't be there at that point. You'll have to reschedule it. So one thing you want to keep in mind for something like that, if you're starting a couple minutes late, if it's like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, under that 10-minute window, I'd say like 5 minutes max, then you should be fine. But to also help kind of offset some of that stuff, make sure you're at your, like, if you're going live, and I mean, I'm sorry, we started a few minutes late today. So, if you get to, like, if you're going live at 12 o'clock, don't show up at 12 o'clock and start going, right, Leticia? Mm-hmm. Show up,
right?
Like you and I talked, we said, hey, we're going to get on like 15 minutes ahead of time, and I couldn't figure out why my stuff wasn't working. But 15 minutes, you are in your seat before you go live. It's not
Right.
show up and then, oh, now I got to actually go through the motions. Build that into your show. So if your show starts at 12, 15, 20 minutes, you've already set up, you're ready to go. You're hanging out your laptop. Maybe you're reading the comments, all the other fun stuff that's there. So any advice you want to add to that one?
Well, I have this show called Success Spotlight, and what was happening was there was times where the guests would show up late. So what I would do was I would schedule the show on YouTube because they don't cancel it. At least they haven't done anytime soon with my streams. And then when we go live, then I will add all the other destinations. So you guys are probably saying, well, don't you want people to know in advance that you're going to be interviewing that person? Yeah, I have graphics. I post those on my other social media platforms so that people know that the show's going to happen. Because I do this one thing with my show where I say like 8:30 p.m. ish, with the ish at the end. And I do, especially when there's times throughout the year, because you guys know I have 5 kids. So around this time of year, there's graduations going on. There's all these things. So I would add that to my time frame to let people know that it's not going to be at 8:30. It's going to be probably 15 minutes after. But again, I first do it I schedule on my YouTube channel. And then when we do stream, that's when I add all the other destinations, and all the details and descriptions are already in there. I don't have to go in. This is why StreamYard is so awesome. I don't have to go in and redo the titles over again or anything like that.
Fantastic. Yeah. And by the way, I just want to make a quick note. Leticia, I was reading the comments here. By the way, we are going to be running a giveaway very shortly for some StreamYard merch. And what I'd recommend doing, and I think Leticia put it in there, but it's not the giveaway time yet, but put hashtag love StreamYard. If you already put hashtag love StreamYard, do me a favor, just put it again. I have some new stuff to work with actually today. That I'm really excited about. And so I actually forgot to start using it. So do me a favor, put hashtag love StreamYard. I'm so excited for the show. Okay, so let's go bring on a guest, Leticia. Go and bring on whoever you want to bring on. We got a lot of people.
We're going to bring on Rich Sister, honey.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Just wanted to definitely come on and say that I've been enjoying checking out the show, and I've been enjoying it.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Thanks for your patience, by the way, too. We were trying to get through all the comments and whatnot, but thank you so much.
I understand. But yeah, to share with you a little bit about me, it's a combination of a blog, Facebook Live, and motivational speaking sector called Thoughts for Vision. It's a motivational and inspirational show. And definitely, I've been using StreamYard for last couple of years. Last couple of years, 2 years at least. I've been using StreamYard, which I love. So I really love the platform because I really love that you can show your comments on the screen and just look up the show. It just looks professional, and definitely, like you say, with your show titles and your banners, you can create those banners to highlight specific topics and stuff like that. So I love it. You can have it right on screen. I love it.
Fantastic. Do you have a question for us, by the way, or just want to come on and just talk to everyone?
Yeah, and hang out with us.
Just suggestions about how to build your audience, because see, I'm definitely in agreement with you, what you were saying about, look, I don't come on just to come on. When I feel a topic brewing or whatever is hitting me, I mean, that's when I come on. I don't just come on to come. I ain't that bored with life. But in a sense, still, you want to do something to build your audience.
That's right.
I mean, and I be looking at people, and sometimes I look and, okay, they doing this and got tons of followers, and and get one sometimes. So, and not mad at it. You understand? Not mad at it. That's them. But still, you want to do stuff to know how to build your audience.
Yes.
So what's your channel about? Let's start there. What's your channel about? So tell me what your channel is. I'll actually bring it up while I'm over on YouTube.
Well, it's a motivational, inspirational show where I do different topics,
Okay.
typically biblically based, or maybe even it can be current events. I mean, just whatever current event comes up, I may feel led to talk about that. Or
Okay.
if it's something else that's brewing on me, like I did a live about being educated when it comes to your health. See if that's
Okay.
hit me, if there's, and that's maybe because of situations that I'm personally dealing with, or those who I know around me are dealing with. That may hit, that may lead me to do a topic about that. So,
So
so
what's your
very,
channel actually? Let me I'm gonna pull it up on
you can go to, I have a Facebook page,
okay.
Thoughts for Vision.
Thoughts for what?
It's Thoughts for Vision.
Thoughts for Vision. Okay, do you have a YouTube channel as well, or is it just Facebook?
It's a YouTube channel too, Thoughts for Vision.
Okay, so the first piece of advice I would strongly like from a Facebook standpoint, I don't know if you know, Facebook has been diminishing reach like for years, like organic
Yes.
reach. So just
Yep.
because you post and you have like 1,000 people, for example, subscribing to your following your page, it doesn't mean they're going to
You're-
see any of it actually.
25 is only seeing it. 25 people is only seeing it.
And so here's the thing that, you know, if you're not getting like, if you're just throwing it against the wall, for example, and you're getting 25 people to see it, and that number is consistently 25 people, I mean, for me, I'd consider making sure I'd still broadcast there, but I would maybe shift my priorities about where I'm putting that content, where I'm engaging the most with people. I actually think you're going to get way more value out of it going on YouTube. And that's because you're not going to be fighting against the algorithm as much.
Yeah, what I do with my Facebook lives, I download the video and I repurpose it to YouTube. I don't do YouTube live, but I'll download that video and upload it to YouTube.
So if it were me, I like the idea of downloading, re-uploading, but from a time standpoint, that's a lot. Because I used to do that. It's a lot of extra time. And honestly, the video quality that Facebook's going to give you is not going to be very good. They actually give you like 480p, I think it is. So it's usually bad quality because they process it and all the other stuff. So if I were going to download it, the one thing I would do is in StreamYard, I would download it from StreamYard. Okay. That's the first thing I would do. So then that way you could do your standard upload. Little tip for you, if you are going to upload the video to YouTube, make sure you actually, so people might not think about this, but rename the file. Rename it with the keywords you're going to talk about. So I'm looking at your channel here. I think it's this Thoughts for Vision. I think this is you. Do you have, is it Thoughts for Vision? You have about 19 subscribers. Is that the right one?
Yeah, you look at the YouTube page, right?
Yes.
You
I think I got the right one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're looking at YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like this, right? Let me just pull this up real quick. Is it this one?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay. So a couple things. So the first thing I'd say is like, for example, like TFV updates, for example, that's like, you've got to put keywords in that are related to what the video is going to be about. So for example, Thoughts for Vision might be like, it wouldn't be the title. It would probably be in the description and it would be a tag that you'd add, Thoughts for Vision. However, I'd put my name in there as a tag so that people go to look for you. They start to find you on YouTube and Google and all the other stuff that goes with that. I'd also focus on the topic that you're going to be talking about in the video. And that's because, you know, if you want to get outside of like, you've got 2 people that viewed it or 3 people that viewed it, for example, let me actually mute this. So, you know, you've got 2 people that are viewing this. People aren't necessarily going to be able to like know what this is about. So chances are they're not going to tune in. They're not going to tune in because, you know, they don't really know what it's about. It's just TFV updates, right? You want to add anything, Leticia, to that?
Okay, so I wrote down some notes as you were speaking, love, and one of the major points that I wanted to make to you is scroll stopping content. Okay. So, which means that what I do with my content a lot is I call out my audience. So the question for you is really, who is your audience? Who is it that needs to listen or watch your content? So on my content, I always put attention all course curators, service providers, and network marketers, because my content is geared towards them. So that now when people are scrolling through my timeline or even their news feed, and they'll see my shows or my content in general, and they see that their industry or their lifestyle, is being sort of, called out on my title. Like, when I mean by called out, I don't mean a bad thing. I'm like, announce who it is that you're wanting to talk to, right? Because we can create content that's so general, right, that's not really speaking to anybody. And if you're not speaking to somebody, it's like, if you're not calling out who you're speaking to, then you're really not speaking to anybody. It's like you're speaking to the air. So Christian point, going back and just being very clear on your titles, being clear on who you're targeting. And that's what it is, like boiling down to asking yourself this question: who am I speaking to? Who needs to listen to this information? Who needs this information right now? Why do they need it? Right? And start putting them in your descriptions. Like, I have a show that I did this morning, and that's why I put attention all. This is why I put attention all course curators, service providers, and network marketers. Are you wondering whether or not you should personalize your email copy? Tune into this show, and I'm going to teach you my 3 top reasons why you should personalize your emails. So I'm calling out my audience. I'm also telling them, asking them a question, and I'm ending it off with what they're going to walk away with after they watch this show.
That makes sense?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And
Makes sense.
the other thing is, so that you don't get overwhelmed with a lot of this stuff. I mean, it's you don't have to change everything at once. What I would do is I would work on improving small things every single week.
Right.
So, for example, let's change the title, like start to get in the habit of, before I go live, before I schedule that broadcast, I personally keep a Google Doc and a spreadsheet. I keep a spreadsheet with every single show that I do, so that I know what the topics are going to be about, when the show is, if there's a guest, any of that kind of stuff. When I'm then getting ready to schedule the broadcast, I have a Google Doc that I keep, Google document, and it literally is the title. I've basically scripted everything out that's going to go in the description of that video. The title, the description, the tags, all that kind of stuff. So I'm doing the research ahead of time before I'm going live. So I'm not just randomly going live just for the sake of going live. And then I'm seeing how that works. And then what I do then is I look at it and say, okay, well, maybe I need to, I make sure my thumbnail, for example, matches that. Or I look at it and I say, okay, well, that didn't actually seem to go as well as I wanted it to. Then what do I need to try for the next show? Let's try it for like a month of doing this one action, and then see how that changes. Because, I look at how many, views you have on some of your videos, and I want you to get views and more people watching that content, because everybody has a message that should be shared. Right. So, amen. So I'd recommend that. And the other piece of advice I'd also give you is, it's not this week, it's not next week, right, Leticia? When's we have another show that we do on Saturdays. It's with Daniel Batal and Dee Nemen. It's called YouTube channel reviews.
Yeah.
And if you go on there, I would strongly encourage. It's not it's like, I think it's the second or third. We'll get the date here. But basically all they do is review your YouTube channel.
Okay.
That's it. That's all they do. So they'll look at it and they'll say, well, hey, for example, I can't tell what the topic's about. Or, you've got this channel art and, you need to make some enhancements to things like that. And these are people that they have a really big following as well. So be sure you check out their shows, what I'd encourage you to do. Okay.
Well, I thank you so much for your advice. Thank you so much. And thank you for the time on air. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Keep it up. And again, if you have questions, you're welcome to reach out to us. So,
yes.
Thank you. Awesome. Take care and bless.
Okay. Bye. Okay, Leticia, I'm going to go through a couple questions there. I've been watching the questions as we've been chatting with our guests, and we've got some amazing comments here. So Gray Man Prepping, I got to, so you got your StreamYard coffee mug. Do me a favor. If you happen to get that, just take a picture of it. We want to see that mug that you've got. Put hashtag love StreamYard with your mug. We'll make sure we check that out.
Right.
So congrats on getting that. Let's see what else we got here. I like Grayman Prepping's actual other comment. I do 2 streams a week, 1 topic specific, and the other open discussions on varied topics. That's another great strategy, because then you can actually test those against one another. You could do one strategy, where you're very optimized with it, and the other one is just totally random, and you can see which one tends to attract the most viewers. And I would bet that the one that's very specific is going to attract the most viewers, but worth checking out. Let's see what else we have. Let's see. So Carl's asking, producing questions, bringing comments into the stream, our private chat for the presenters on screen to see the questions coming in from YouTube, Hopin, etc. So very good. Actually, I'm going to make a note of that one, Leticia, because that's a good feature request.
That is a real good feature request, actually. It will pre-prep them to answer. Yeah, I'm trying to see where you're at. What time?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Let me see when that was. That's actually at 12:56.
12:56. Okay.
And I'm a little bit behind, by the way. I'm a little bit behind. Sorry. We got a lot of questions here, so.
Yes. Let me scroll. Oh, mine stopped at 121, so I'm gonna go from there. If we miss your question, guys, just type in hashtag ask, and we will get to your question. Okay, Sabrina said, how important is the mic for your broadcast? It's very important. I honestly took a poll in one of my groups. And I showed, the sound quality from one stream that I did without a mic and the quality with the mic. And it does improve it a lot. A lot of people were telling me that they actually was watching longer. So yeah, sound quality is very important if you want to be consistent with it.
Yeah, and in terms of the types of mics, so you don't have to spend a lot of money on a microphone to get started. You can start with what you have. We always encourage you to do that, but you also want to always try to be leveling up. So start with what you have. For example, don't go buy this mic that I'm using if this is your first time streaming.
Right.
You're putting a lot of investment into that. So and you're putting into something that you still have to figure out how to make it work, how to make money from it, all the other stuff, with that. So I would recommend, I like the Samson Q2U. It's a $70 microphone. It has a little stand that it comes with. It has a really cool feature. And the feature is, instead of being something like a Blue Yeti, which is typically a USB only microphone, and that's not an industry standard. USB microphones, they plug in a computer. However, the downside to a USB mic is that if you want to upgrade to a mixer, for example, we talked about doing a call-in show earlier with the Rodecaster Pro or a Zoom PodTrack P8, you would not be able to plug a USB mic into a mixer. So, that's if you want to expand things to some of the higher quality mics. And so that's where the Samson Q2U, the thing I really like about it is it does USB, so you can get started with it. And then let's say you're ready to level up, it includes XLR. So then you can include an audio interface with it. So it's a fantastic option to consider. And it's only $70, by the way, which is for a mic really cheap, because a Blue Yeti, for example, is $150. So you're getting a really good mic there.
Right.
Leticia, what other questions do you have here?
I like Eric's comment. Sound, video, others. That's a good way to put it. All right, let's see what other comments we have. Okay. Cindy says she's having issues with audio and live streaming. While streaming, she has audio and followers can interact with me. However, for the replay, after streaming is over, the audio disappears. That's interesting. Yeah,
that is actually Cindy. So do me a favor, Cindy. Can you go to StreamYard.com/contact? Can you contact our support team on that? Because I don't know if they have a way to check out things in the account, but I'd love to have you go there and work with them on that, because I've not come across it where the audio disappears. The only times that I would I know, for example, if you go live on something, let's say you're going live to YouTube, your chat doesn't always get saved.
Right.
And it doesn't always show up immediately. So you have to like go in and check a box. And then in terms of the quality of like the video, it's still being processed a lot of times. So I'm not sure if like, is that immediate that you're going back and not seeing the audio? Tells me something's wrong there.
Yeah.
The other question I also have for you is, if you have the download feature in StreamYard, have you gone in and downloaded your past broadcast to see if the audio is there as well? That's the first place I think I'd look, because that should be a carbon copy of your stream. So
right.
Great question, Cindy.
We have a question coming in. Cassandra, she said, how do I reach fade button? We talked about that?
We don't have a fade button, actually.
No.
Or, hold on, Cassandra. Is this Cassandra? Hold on. I think this is Cassandra in the background, actually. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So we'll bring your question. Actually, let's bring up a different question. Actually, let me bring up one here. Yeah. What do you got? Cable cord for my router to change. Yes. So I just want to answer this. So I was working with Verona, actually. So she had a challenge. She was running into some freezing of her camera. And so what I had talked with her about doing was plugging into her router directly. I also took a look at the type of computer she was using, and I said, well, hey, let's test a few things. For example, if you're using a laptop and you're using the built-in webcam, and you're like, for example, as you're adding more people to your broadcast and you are the broadcaster, you need to have enough resources on your system. And so because, like I think the quality of the webcam was the built-in webcam. It was also a 11-inch HP computer. And I was telling her, I was like, hey, let's do this. Let's adjust the webcam. Let's adjust the quality that you're broadcasting at to see if it improves, for example, by lowering the broadcast quality to see if it's the machine. Because the machine at that point, should be able to respond if we have to lower it down the level so that the laptop can keep up. So that was what was happening. So what I told her was, hey, you know what? Use your iPad or your tablet because that actually might, like some of these, I'm actually running a tablet right now as my external monitor. I mean, tablets are getting really fast. So for certain things, they work well. I was like, hey, let's do your broadcast on a tablet and see if it works. But that's from Verona. Got another question, actually, by the way, too, from Noah TV. Is there a way you can put your screen on the live? So I'm wondering if you're talking about, okay, so a couple things. A, are you asking, can I share my laptop screen? That one, yes, you can use the share feature and just do screen share, and there'll be an option that'll say share application window or full screen, and it'll share exactly what you're seeing. Now, if we're talking about phones and tablets and that kind of stuff, you can do that. The way I do it is I use an ATEM Mini Pro. I have a switcher, a physical switcher, and I don't have like cabling today, actually. So if I plug in, for example, my phone or my tablet into that and I push a button, it will actually then show my screen to people instead of my camera. So it lets me switch between that. Another thing you can also do, Reflector app. So Reflector it's called Reflector 4 by Squirrels, by Air Squirrels. That's actually a really good tool. It's at airsquirrels.com. Here, I'll drop the link.
Oh, that's a cute name.
Well.
Air Squirrels.
And this is, there's a cost to this app. It's not an expensive app. I think it's like $15 maybe. $18. Sorry, it looks like it's $18. So that's Reflector 4. That allows you to mirror your screen, your iOS screen, for example, to your Mac. You can also use QuickTime as well if you want a free option. QuickTime, though, you have to hardwire in via QuickTime in order to do that. And that would just be showing your screen. It wouldn't be doing the audio. Okay, so do me a favor. Go and bring on a guest, Leticia. I'm going to keep going through the comments. And don't forget, by the way, put in #LoveStreamYard if you want to enter the giveaway. I'm looking at the entries right now. John, I want to thank you so much for being patient.
No problem. I'm happy to be on. My name is John. My comments come up as Coffee Talking Tech. And I started a YouTube channel about 6 to 8 months ago, and I am super new to streaming. And when we first talked about some of the comments of, being so new and streaming, I just want to say that, first of all, when I found StreamYard, which was through Live Streaming Pros, I had watched a couple of their shows. And then when I was seeing the good deals over the holidays, I saw that I could pick up the deal for fairly cheap. So I signed up, and whether or not I was going to utilize it, I wasn't sure yet. But now I'm into my third week of programmed live streaming. And the last 2 weeks, on the night that I live stream, I've had 8 to 10 people and have improved my subscriber count by 1/3 in like the last 3 weeks. So I just want to say that the live streaming and making that contact with people and being involved, it made a huge difference for me.
Fantastic.
That is amazing.
I love hearing this. I mean, this is really important, you know, like I like, and the key thing is it's getting started. It's just getting started. Like start with, you know, like I see you've got the Rode WEN screen there. You know, I like your background, by the way, in your camera. It looks good.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you. I have a little background with tech, so that is super beneficial. I built out my computers custom. So there was a lot of things tech-wise that I was really easy with. But with starting a YouTube channel and not knowing how to edit from scratch and teaching myself DaVinci Resolve and teaching myself slowly everything. But when I found the streaming, I kind of like just fell in love with it.
Right.
And I don't know what it is about it, but I just like the direct contact with the people and the impact it makes. It's super clear how it impacts people much differently. And I'm more comfortable on camera, which is the opposite of most people, than I am with doing my own videos.
Right.
It's just me, but I just want to say that, you know, I'm still learning a lot. Like right now, I'm using my virtual cam through OBS, and I'm still working with the offset sync with my audio timing. So there's improvements I'm trying to make on that. But I like using OBS because then I can add like a lot of little things in that's kind of cool. Like if I get a subscriber, I could drop some confetti or add something that's kind of funky, you know. But the thing I was doing, and you were speaking about this, Christian, was getting down to your live stream and talking about setting up like 15 minutes beforehand. That's me. So even like I tell my wife, I gotta go downstairs. I have to make sure everything comes up, everything looks good, check my sound out, because sometimes you come into your broadcast, you want to make sure that your camera comes up, everything's ready to go. And so this week, as I was doing that, I went to go live as my countdown timer was going. And the stream said, error, please try again in a few seconds. And so I did that like 7-8 times, and it just wouldn't go through. But listen, I'm not like super panicking. It's only my third weekend. I have like 8-10 people looking to come and watch me. And I didn't know what to do at that time. Now that I think back, I probably should have went into the dashboard and switched my stream key. Is that what I should have done?
What was the, remind me again what happened?
So when I hit the go live, right when I'm in StreamYard, it just said error, try again in a few seconds or minutes or something like that. And so I did that several times, and it still just would not go live. So at that point, it's like I'm a minute behind. I'm like, you know, like I said, I only have a few people, you know, watching. I was like, I know my links are going to go dead if I just get out of that broadcast and then start a new broadcast. But that's what I did, because at least if people came in, they would find me on my page. They know what time I go on. And so I know that it would help. And then actually my wife was nice enough to make a comment on the old stream, because it was weird. The comments came up, but I could not go live. I was thinking, is that what I maybe should have done first, is gone into my YouTube dash and then switched to stream key? Would have that had a possible chance of fixing that?
It could have fixed it, but I think what you may end up happened is you may end up running into issues with potentially with with Facebook not liking something, for example. But I would have just created a new broadcast. That's what I would have done.
Right, and which I did, but it's just like, you know, like I said, I'm super small, but in the future, I want to make sure that it's not nothing that I did, because if you do have 50 people or 80 people and you start a new broadcast, like you said previously, right, that link goes dead. And, but for me personally, like, I hope to have 50, people watching in 6 months. So that's my goal. And, I just want to say, if there's anyone new out there that hasn't tried StreamYard, I absolutely love it. If I don't think people really grasp the idea, and like I said, I work in communications, so I can tell you 10 years ago of someone being able to sit here and have a switcher and have the things that we have to do in a one-person broadcast. It is like simply amazing. And then having StreamYard to make things even much more interactive between your clients or your audience is just amazing on top of it. So I definitely tell everybody about it, and I love using it. And I just want to let you know that.
Awesome. Yeah. And we got a couple people asking, by the way, about your audio. They were saying, some people were asking if you were using any audio filters. Other people were saying that it sort of sounded like you were in a tin can, maybe. I don't know if it doesn't sound crisp, they were saying.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? I'm going through OBS. So the only thing I can say is if I don't have any filters on at all. So I have processing through my Rodecaster, but I also,
that's interesting, huh?
Go ahead.
I'm using a Rodecaster as well. Yeah. What kind of mic?
An NT1.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you have good equipment. It's very interesting. I think the things you can maybe try there, I think it might be a setting on the Rodecaster.
Okay. All I can tell you is usually I get a lot of compliments that everything sounds good. So that's an odd thing to say usually, because I just went live the other day and I have the same exact settings. So I didn't change the thing. So if I sound tinny, I'll be curious to see. So I'll go back and watch this, of course, and then I'll check over anything that maybe it can be anything. It could be a bad chord. Who knows?
Exactly. I was having an audio issue the other day, and I put a new XLR cable on today, and I think it's improved things.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sometimes like you go on to Amazon and you look at some of these products and they have 10,000 people with good reviews, but you know that sometimes when I get this stuff, it's kind of cheap, and sometimes it's worth it, especially like you were just saying, it's worth it to spend a little extra money on something good that is so important for you to use in every live stream.
Yeah. And the other thing also, the other thing people need to realize, like when you're buying equipment, for example, start with what you have. But we mentioned we can't drive this point home enough. I mean, start with the audio. So audio is the most important part of your live video. Start with the audio and then improve it. For example, and think long term also. So and Leticia, you and I talk about this quite a bit, and it's like if you're gonna, for example, and I told people I did this when I first got started. I bought a Blue Yeti microphone, and it worked well because I was at a desk. And then I said, hey, now I want to start doing courses, and I want to be in a different setting, and I wanted to mix things up, right? And so then at that point, I realized I had the wrong microphone.
Right.
So then I bought another microphone, and it wasn't the right. It was it was a lavalier microphone, and it was a good mic, but the thing is, it was not the easiest thing to use. Right, so then I had two different mics. Well, then the problem when you have two different mics is they don't sound the same. So I would be recording with Yeti on my desk, and then I go use my lavalier if I wanted to get in front of a camera for a course. And so what I then finally did was I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to get, I'm going to get the mixer. I'm going to get the right kind of equipment that I need right then and there. I'm not going to try to cobble together stuff that may not work very well, because then I was making more work for myself.
Right.
So, but start with what you have. Yeah.
I was saying, like, starting as a new YouTuber, it's hard sometimes, like the theory, right? A lot of people say is don't buy it twice. And you start out, and one of my big glitches in which I tell everybody is, here I am. I got an audio interface. I bought a Mo2 M2, and I had that, and my lighting was horrible. And I was like, why am I buying this thing? And I'm trying to put on a printer, a light stand, and it was a joke. And so I said to myself, I spent $170. I got two, panel lights coming down, and they connect to the desk. And it was the best $170 I think I
Right.
spent in the last
Right.
year.
Yeah.
It was well worth it.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah. And I'll even say that like even with lighting, when you get into lighting, for example, you can I spent the time learning how to position my ring light
Yeah.
so that I'm not getting the alien eyes or whatever they're, I think that's what they're called. So I'm not getting the rings in my eyes. And that's
Yes.
because, for example, what a lot of people do is they put the light directly towards them. But the thing is with the ring light, I go up and I actually tilt down
Yeah.
so that it's casting down on my face.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
it's creating that cone.
Yeah.
So it's just some stuff to remember. But no, I want to thank you for coming on. And
Anytime.
Thank you.
if you have any questions or you run into that audio issue and you need some help, I'm happy to compare my Rodecaster settings with you.
Thank you. I'm actually going to go back and listen, and I'll try to make corrections. I appreciate the comments about that, so I can make that correction.
Right.
Anytime.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
You too.
All right.
See you, John.
I started out just like Eric mentioned in the comments. I started out with a lapel mic because I started streaming in my car. I would just be in my car and stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just start wherever you're at and see what's accessible for you,
Definitely. Yeah. So I want to bring up a couple of more questions from viewers. And I know we've got Cassandra and Ken here waiting backstage. I think there's a couple other people as well that are going to join us. So I want to say, first off, Christian Jensen, I want to say thank you very much for this amazing comment, actually. For those of you who used to watch Saturday morning cartoons, now it's live stream reviews. Got to say, thank you very much. That means a lot. That means so much to me to hear this. So
we love it. We love it.
What other comments are you seeing, Leticia?
Okay. What I do, ring lights, multiple settings. Yes. Okay, let's go back. And guys, please don't forget to put #ask for your questions. We got a lot of compliments. Thank you guys. Hold on. Kimberly asked a good question. She said, is there a way to share screens from one device and still be able to see and be in the live and see participants and viewers? I led an online youth Bible study, and when I want to show visuals, I have to log in from 2 computers to show the visuals and then be able to still be a part of the live without visuals being blocked.
Okay, so give me a second to actually go read that one, because there's a lot. I was making some notes here about some of the feature requests people were having. So let me go back and actually look at that one real quick.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see what we got there. Is there a way to screen share from one device and be able to see and be seen in the live and see participants, viewers, lead a Bible? Okay, so I will say the one, and my screen's going to go black here when I do this. Actually, I think, let me see. Nope, no, there it is. Okay, so I'm using a switcher. And so I think this is actually what you're kind of looking for. I think you're looking for like a picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
And so I'm using an ATEM Mini Pro. If you want to turn that comment off, actually.
Let's turn it off. Yeah, if you could put that in the comments.
So basically, this is an ATEM Mini Pro. And so as you can see, I've got a camera here up in the corner. And the great thing about the ATEM Mini Pro is I can move this around. Now, answering her question, so if you have an iPad, a computer, another camera, a phone, doesn't really matter. You plug all of them. You can plug whatever the source is into the ATEM Mini Pro. Right now, I don't have any other cables with me to be able to plug in my phone or my iPad. Actually, no, I don't have it with me. Sorry. So the way that it works is when you plug it in as a camera source, I would be able to, for example, switch. Right now I'm on camera 1. I switch to camera 2, and then I'm still able to have my picture-in-picture in the top corner here. Does that make sense? So then that way, she's still able to be on screen, and then she's still able to have her phone or her tablet or her computer, whatever she has plugged in as a camera source, she's able to have that show up on screen. If that doesn't answer your question, let me know, because there's lots of there's other ways to do this as well, but that's the easiest way I think to do it. Do a screen share. You could also try a Reflector app. You can cobble together other apps and use what's called a virtual camera as well for that sort of thing, and that will allow you to do mashups of those sorts of things. Let me see. Let me go through this. Feel free to bring up some other questions, by the way, while I'm looking through this.
I think we answered this one by Eric about that would be good for feature requests. Hashtag asks could go to the queue of questions. Like there would be like a Q&A tab somewhere on the screen. Maybe that's what he meant, that all the ask question would go there, so we don't have to fish through the comments like how we're doing now. I think that's what he means. Yeah.
That's a very good question. Yeah. So like queuing up comments, great one. NLTMW, we got your hotkeys comment. Can you also bring up NLTMW's question about the ATEM as well?
Yep, right here.
So, so he's saying, does it require HDMI inputs? That's correct. So, for example, if you happen to have an external webcam like a Logitech Brio or C920, you are not able to plug that into the ATEM Mini Pro because it uses, or any of the ATEM Minis, because they require HDMI, which means your camera needs to be an HDMI connection. Now you're like, hey, how do I plug in a phone or an iPad or any of that kind of stuff into an ATEM Mini? The way it works, I have an HDMI cable that goes from the ATEM Mini, and then it goes into, I have one of the adapters that Apple sells. The one that has, for example, there's a USB-C option, a Lightning one, depending on the device. For example, if it's my phone, it goes into a Lightning option, and then it has an HDMI connector. And so it goes the adapter into the phone via HDMI cable over into the ATEM Mini Pro, and then I'm able to make that switching. So that's how you can do that. Very easy, super easy to do, actually. Let me see what else we got here.
I have one question here by IRC. He says sometimes when folks are demonstrating their StreamYard setup in screen, they don't show the visual echo effect. Any quick hints on how to make that work?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the visual echo effect is you're referring to.
Okay.
You're referring to the setting that's in there. So inside of your settings under audio, there's an echo cancellation feature. And that should be available across everyone's accounts. So it 100% should be there.
Okay.
So just let us know.
Yes.
Let me see. Is there a way to set up your banners, etc.? Here's another good question from Purgatory Paranormal of New York. This, there are no dumb questions, by the way. I will say that. No dumb questions whatsoever.
None. Powerful people ask powerful questions. Remember that.
Is there? And here's the thing. If you never, like, it doesn't, everybody starts somewhere, right? And they all start, you may start your journey at one place and someone else is, down the road a lot further than you. And that's because maybe they've got different experiences, but you all start at, everybody starts like at different points. And so in this case, I mean, is there a way to set up banners without having to go set up a broadcast? I don't know of a way actually to do that. So I always go into a broadcast and then I go and I create folders for my brands. And then I put the banners that I want in there, but that's how I work. So I put everything into the one broadcast. So I go into a broadcast, and then from there I can create different brand identities, basically. So that's the way I work.
Awesome.
Let's see what else we have here. So another comment from NLTMW, adding left column identical to the current tab one would make it easier. Noted. So I'll put that in the feature requests.
And just a follow up for Kim. She said that does she still need two devices? And by your response, we'll be able to still see the back room. Was really trying to do it all on one device.
So you would still need, like, if you're trying to show different devices, like the only way to kind of get around that is to use, as I mentioned, a virtual camera app. Like you can check out, let's see what ones are out there. By the way, if you know of a good virtual camera app, if you're watching, do us a favor, drop it in the comments. Just drop the name of it, please. No links, just the name. There are virtual camera apps that will that you can use. But here's the other thing, kind of have to look at. Like we mentioned, Reflector, that might be one option. For example, Reflector 4 from Air Squirrels. When you start to look into those, they have costs to them as well.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
If you're like, hey, I want to do it with one device, you still have to potentially pay for some of the software
right.
that might be involved.
Yeah.
So just kind of keep that in mind.
And one last question, Christian. One last
Yeah,
before
sure.
we get to host. She said, "How do you? I'm sorry, Going Green Mom. How do you add folders to the branding items to organize?"
Okay, cool. Good
Yeah.
question.
Want to share your
So,
screen?
yeah, let me do this. Oh, and IRC's answer is sort of answering.
IRC.
Yeah, actually, I'm just reading. Just let me know. Feel free to make those comments as well. Let me see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, give me 1 second, guys. I'm just doing. I'm gonna get a doc. I'm trying to get logged into my account here so I can
Yep.
show you guys this. And usually, what I like to do, by the way, is I like to bring up I actually like to use an incognito window when I log in.
Me too.
So it does help sort of with the broadcast. So here,
Yeah,
I'll bring
I like doing that feature as well.
Okay, so
Yes.
Thank
you, Miss Jones. Thank you.
And again, don't forget, put in hashtag love StreamYard for a giveaway.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to pull that one up.
No worries.
I'm trigger happy.
All good. Let's see.
Bam.
So,
Got him. Bam.
okay. So here, I'm going to go and bring up my screen real quick for you all.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I think it's this one.
And the little toaster, we see you in the backstage. If you could please turn your camera on, that'd be great.
Definitely. And we're more than welcome to bring you in. We just want to like know, we want to see what we're looking at. So,
yeah.
Okay. So here's what I've got. Okay. So you're asking about brand folders. Okay. So here I am. I'm in the StreamYard dashboard. And can you hide that comment, by the way, from Jamie?
Yeah, I'm trying to. That's what I was just working on. There you go. Cool. It's gone.
So here I am. I'm in the StreamYard dashboard. Now, I'm under the brands tab here on the right-hand side. And if I go to this drop-down folder here, you're going to see I've got some various folders here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to create a new brand, I just click the new brand option here. And it's going to allow me to create this. So we're going to just call this S brand. And so as you can see, I've already actually reached my maximum number of 10 brands, but that essentially would create one of these folders. And then now at this point, let's say I want to let's look at live stream reviews. So when I click into live stream reviews, I'm going to have my brand colors. I'm going to have the theme that I want to use for the broadcast. I can upload my logo. I can work with the overlays that we have here. In addition to that, we've got video clips, so I can customize what's going into that particular brand folder. So just a quick recap, you go to brand, and then you go to the drop down at the top, and you can click on new brand here at the bottom. And you can always rename or delete a brand as well if you want to. So that's how that works. Cool. Leticia, let's go and bring on Cassandra, actually.
Yes, right. Let's bring on down. Hello.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi, how you doing? Good, how are you?
As you can see, I do a lot of green screen. I have the lighting. Actually, I have a whole wall that's just, the green screen. But right now, you can see, I didn't light up properly because I see the fuzzing. But in the green screen section, there's a couple of things I want to hit real quick because I know you got a lot of people. In the green screen section, when you go to green screen, and it says for camera and mic, and you get your green screens and you get your different backgrounds. Under there's a button that says fade that lets you fade in and out so that you're able to make sure that your lighting's correct.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Well, let me finish. My setting box, I get fade, but it's not bigger. I don't know how to scroll down so that I can get to the fade button, because my box is smaller. So right at fade, my box stops.
Interesting. So let me see something. Do me a favor, actually. Can you do me a favor on that? Can you take a screenshot of that and send it to
okay.
Can you actually send, because I think it's a good point to make. Can you take a screenshot of that and send it to our StreamYard.com/contact?
Okay, okay. I'll
basically go to the website StreamYard.com/contact, and then so once you have your screenshot, just notify our team about that, because I definitely want them to know about that.
Okay. All right. So that's the first thing. Then the other issue is I have problems. It seems like when I go live, I practice, I'm in my room 2 hours before a show because hi, I'm Cassandra Calloway and I do a show called The Cassandra Calloway Show. where I interview entertainers. I do a bunch of red carpet stuff live. But it seems to be sometimes when I have some of my biggest shows, after setting up and practicing, when it's time for me to go live, the green screen slows down. Okay. And I've got the fastest internet. I'm plugged in to the Ethernet. I did a show with George Shakiris the other day and set everything up. And right when the show went to start, the green screen just started slowing down. And then I ended up, because I've had it happen before, switching to another computer, going Wi-Fi and using my house background. And then the show just went perfectly. So it's like every other big show, the green screen is freezing on me.
Okay, so I'll make a note of that. Yeah, that the green screen. It sounds to me like I'm wondering if it's a resource issue. Like I don't know what kind of machine you're using, like laptop.
Right now I'm on my new Apple Mac, but I have like three different computers, and like right now this is the computer I was using for the George Shakiris show, and it would not run on the Ethernet. It was running slow, and Wi-Fi was running slow. Then when I hooked up another computer, it went quickly. Now right now, this is the first time I'm using it. I'm on Wi-Fi, and I'm not having an issue with the green screen, as you can see.
I think it's Leticia, actually. Leticia's why it's working.
It's my glitter.
Oh, it's your glitter. Okay, so then here's another question. Then I want to get to how can I get more eyes on my show. Okay. So if I have two cameras, because I have multiple cameras, so am I able to hook up more than one camera so that I can have two different screens in my during my show, so that I can show two different things, like how you had that picture in picture? Would I be able to do that with having a second camera, or do I need that switcher?
So I think the switcher is going to be easier. I mean, you can have so here's the thing. If you plug multiple cameras into your computer, okay. So then you're going to have to go into StreamYard and switch the source of the video. Okay. So that's if you have two cameras plugged in. Now, on the flip side of that, the way that I'm using it, and by the way, Purgatory Paranormal of New York, if you want to actually come on and actually talk to us about that, please let us know. Leticia, can you drop the invite link for them? Yeah. Because I want to hear what kind of two camera setup they're using. But so a couple ways you can do it. So for example, if you plug in two cameras, let's say they're two DSLRs, or two Logitech cameras, you're going to have to constantly go and switch the source that way. Okay. Second option you can do is if you have smartphones, you can plug in, you can actually send your smartphone the link that you're using for your camera. Okay. And that will bring it into the bottom area of your broadcast as a camera feed. Does that make sense? So for example,
but then you got to work with the echo and making sure you turn off one of the microphones so that you don't get the double back.
And actually the reason that happens is because when you just push the volume button, it doesn't actually mute the device. And that's built, that's the device by design. The devices are built like that for some reason. Like you can go on your Mac and you can turn the volume all the way down and mute the button. And as soon as you plug in, for example, something, it actually will you'll see as you're talking, you'll see the mic volume actually toggling back and forth. So you do have to kind of keep in mind, that's that. The solution there would be to get a pair of old headphones, preferably ones that don't have a mic on them, plug it into the device, just plug it in and let them stay there. That's the easiest fix. And you actually would then mute the mic. It tricks the camera or the device into thinking it's muted.
Okay. All right.
And
so
then
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then the third option is, and this is the more expensive option, is the ATEM Mini is a physical switcher. And for something like that, it's HDMI inputs. And then you'll be able to, the easiest part there is it's one video source in StreamYard. So in this case, it shows up as Blackmagic Design ATEM Mini. And when I and then all I have to do is push the buttons on the ATEM Mini to switch to the camera. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. Because I have a board, because I was doing blog talk. I've been doing, since 2009, so since coming over to this virtual this way, I had 3 million people that have listened to the show on blog talk. But now I'm trying to bring it over to, from Facebook, because I have more Facebook people than YouTube, right? And my problem is I have a lot of recording artists. So when I'm playing their music or I play a clip from a particular person's a television show, I get blocked from the
copyright.
people.
Yeah.
You know, I got Melba Moore on the show, or I have Kelly Price on the show, and they're singing. So how is, you know, or, you know, how, the creative West Side Story, and you're blocking it. So is there a way on that?
So, go ahead, Leticia. Actually, go ahead.
Well, that happened to me before with somebody I was interviewing, and I always put in a claim. I know that's like time consuming, it's annoying, but if that individual has like an email, let's say you're interviewing Kelly Price, maybe her team has an email that once you let Facebook know, like, listen, I interviewed Kelly Price, I have permission to have her music showcase on my channel, here's her email of her agent of her team for you to confirm, or something like that. And 9 times out of 10 they will definitely, you know, release that back, you know, allow your video to be viewed on Facebook. But again, I know that's time consuming. I know that is.
With that, because I'm putting in a lot of work. You know, I have sponsors, I have people that pay for commercials and things like that. So I've been working on it, and I've been with StreamYard for like maybe 3 years now. And when, you know, so I was having different issues like with different other places, and StreamYard did it. Last year I did a 24-hour telethon where I did 3 8-hour streams. You know, and we raised like $1,200, and like the first 7 hours we got like over 2,000 views on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm learning those little things, but there's 2 other issues. How can I incorporate the StreamYard link to my Instagram? Because I don't have that many people on Instagram. I have 5,000 people, more people on Facebook. But anytime I post to Instagram, I'm trying to get the people from Instagram to watch the show on StreamYard, because we can't stream to Instagram, correct? Right. So
you can't, no.
How do I do that?
Instagram. Well, for Instagram wants you to be on mobile. There's no like there is. So I'm not going to name it, but there is software that people do use for that, but it breaks Instagram terms of service. So just by connecting your accounts to those, Instagram actually will ban accounts. I've known quite a few people that have had it happen.
No, I was just trying to know how to put the show link on Instagram so that they can click the, you know, it's like if I go to my Instagram page and I say, okay,
put it in your bio.
You can
put it in. Okay.
Go ahead, Christian.
Go ahead, Leticia.
No, I said I will put it in my bio. Just put that link there, and I will hyperlink straight to the show.
And you can also use their services like Linktree, those kinds of services, and those actually have. They basically do this. They create essentially what's essentially like a little landing page. So when somebody goes to your like Instagram account, for example, in the description, there'll be a link that you can put in. You put that link, somebody clicks on the link, instead of just directing you to the website or just one other place, it actually can pull up a whole page, and it'll say something like, you know, you set it up whatever you want. Let's say it's like, you know, hey, connect with me on social media. And it could be YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, for example, if that's your thing. So that's some options. Feel free to send me a private message as well, and we can chat more on that one.
Okay. All right. So then, all right, you said something that, okay, so you said something that I had another thought, but hold on okay, so how do I get more eyes on my show? You see, like, because like on Blog Talk, they had like they had a feature page, you know what I'm saying? So I would send in the information to Blog Talk, say, okay, I'm having Regina King on the show. And then they would go, oh, you know, and I send the information, and then like on that page, it would be featured. Do you guys, I don't see, like, I've seen on StreamYard on where you show particular shows. How do we get our show to be that show where you guys, you know, say, hey, watch this show?
Leticia, you want to take that one?
You mean StreamYard to tell the viewers to watch your show? That's what you're asking, or
like right, exactly. Like like the stream, like in the StreamYard community on Facebook, you can't post like I have an upcoming show with the link to my show. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So
well, I would have to say, like, internally wise, like, start building up that email list, like getting people on your list, so that way when you do show up, you're giving them the link and they come in and watch. So that way you can start to retarget people back to your content. Like, yes, you know, you could drop a link in StreamYard and or have that feature, but those people in that community don't know you. You know what I'm saying? They're not. It like builds your brand like inwardly and say, you know what, let me create like some type of opt-in page or something that when people watch, they can go to that opt-in page, sign up for your list, and then you can start sending them out notifications. Some people use text, like, hey guys, text us at 201 yada yada yada. Text the name of the show, and we will start sending you out text notifications on when we're going to do our next interview, our next broadcast, and things like that. Like, start creating community. Now it's time for you to pivot over into creating that community base so people can continue to watch you and bring more people, share your content out with more people, so that more people can watch as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no fast paced way of doing it, other than you just being very diligent with, building up that list, whether it be email list or text list. Like, you can build a text list, and then they get a autoresponder, say, hey, click this link so you can join our email list. So now you have their text, you have them on your text list and also your email list at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let them know. Trishan made a good point. Let them know when you're going live the next time. It's like marketing, promoting, marketing.
Yeah, you have to.
I do that. I
know.
Promos. I do all of that. I'm just saying, I'm just asking, like, within the community, like I said, I've seen on StreamYard where you guys have shown other people's shows, and they're, and what makes a show interesting for you guys to say, hey, come check out this show.
Well, I know, I forgot her name. She does Spotlight. Go ahead, Christian. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So there's StreamYard Spotlight. That's actually one potentially where, so do me a favor, Cassandra. Email our technicals. So go to StreamYard.com/contact. Send them the screenshots we're talking about the fader, all that sort of stuff, for the green screen. However, for something like StreamYard Spotlight, do me a favor, just email marketing@StreamYard.com. In the subject line, just say, just put StreamYard Spotlight, and then just give us a quick note like, hey, how do I get on StreamYard Spotlight? Or tell us a little bit about your show. Like, send us a link and just give us a couple of sentences about it.
Right.
Okay. And then I'll make sure I can get that passed on, and we can see what we can do with that.
Okay.
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 Awesome.
All right. I think that was it. I'm not gonna have you go to my YouTube channel and try to figure out.
For YouTube, I'd recommend checking out the YouTube channel reviews that we do. They do them once a month. It's every. Leticia, do you happen to have the date of the next one?
The next one is going to be the second Saturday in May, and that date. Once my count. Okay, good. I have the date right here. That's going to be on May 8th at 12 p.m. Eastern.
May 12 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah. So join that for YouTube channel reviews, meaning you got a YouTube channel review, your YouTube channel, and you want them to actually review your channel. Go on there. They do a fantastic job of that. Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you guys. Make sure my show, the Cassandra Calloway Show, CallowayMedia.com. Check me out, and I would love to get you guys on my show. To come and
thank you.
I would love to you just do this. Okay. Thanks, guys. I've been trying to talk to somebody for a minute, so for this to happen. And one thing, Rich Sister, I'm the one who introduced Rich Sister to StreamYard. Rich Sister, we've been working together since 2009. Okay,
nice.
So
very nice.
Thank you, guys.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Very cool, man. We've got I got to say, I can't encourage you enough. Do us a favor. Don't forget, by the way, giveaway, #LoveStreamYard. I love all the questions we're getting from our viewers. I mean, just so many things here. I'm over here trying to catch up on some of these. So, let me look at this. So Gina's got a question, and Leticia, I'm gonna let you bring on. I think it's Ken, right?
Ken. Yep.
Yeah. So Leticia's question. Let's do a couple questions here, and then we'll bring Ken on. So, any way of increasing the size of the video to upload instead of having to screen share? Yes, actually. So Gina. So I don't know if you know, we have the long form video feature on StreamYard, and that is
Really
so you actually would not be using the screen share feature. What you essentially would be doing at the bottom of your screen, you click share, and instead of share screen, there's a video file option.
Right.
And when you click video file, it will play any video of any length. It's something we launched, I think it was a couple of months ago, actually now. But that's how you would be able to play a video of any size. So here's more on the long form video. What other questions, Leticia, do we have there?
Jen asks, how can you get rid of offensive comments during the live stream?
Good question, actually. So, what do you recommend, Leticia?
Well, I love StreamYard. I always say that. There's like if you hover over the person's name, not click on it, but hover over that person's comment, there's like three buttons like on the right side, and you could put user in timeout or a block user. That's one way of doing it. Or if you have a moderator, let's say if you're streaming on YouTube and you have a moderator to moderate the channel, they will go in and actually delete or retract whatever offensive comments, and also block the individual as well. So there are ways around to do it. I mean, but at the end of the day, there's something that happens to all of us who are streaming. You
By
get
the way,
some
just
trolls sometimes.
I got one other quick note, by the way, just so to answer that question, how do you get rid of offensive commenting? The other thing you need to do, and this is some of that maintenance that you need to do on all your channels.
Right.
So on
Go ahead,
YouTube,
Christian.
on Facebook, you need to go to the channels. And in, for example, if it's Facebook, you go to your settings on your page, and there's an option to put blocked keywords so that they're not allowed. So that's the first thing. Second thing, on YouTube, same exact thing. You put in the things you don't want to allow. And then that should, you can also put in, for example, if it's YouTube, there's an option that says hold comments for moderation.
Right.
You can do that as well. The downside, obviously, is that they wouldn't show up immediately on your broadcast, but they would be something like that way you can control what does come up and what doesn't. For example, if you're doing, say you get a lot of people drop in like certain like website links, you could put in something to block website links and things like that. So you need to do the maintenance beforehand on the actual platform you're streaming to. So if it's, so if it's after the fact, you're going to have to then just go and delete them as they're happening. But if you set it up beforehand and then start your stream, it should actually work because it pulls in based off of what's in the platform. By the way, I just have one other quick little point. So I've got a tool I'm using for the giveaways, and I sort of kind of just closed the window. So do me a favor, put hashtag love StreamYard in.
Do it again, guys.
I had a whole bunch of entries in there, and I was like, oh man, like I just deleted them. Sorry. So put hashtag love StreamYard in there. We're getting close to the end of the show anyway, so I'll make sure I pull all the comments.
One more time, y'all.
Thank you. Okay, so let's do one more question, and then let's actually not. Let me see. I like actually I want to bring LTMW's comment up real quick. Moderators are valuable when you're starting to start growing and attracting certain attention. Remember, you need a mod of each platform as well.
Right.
Excellent point.
Right, because
So,
they need to switch around and move around and stuff.
yeah. So excellent point. So thanks NLTMW for that as well. Okay, so Leticia, let's bring on our couple guests
Bring
here.
up Ken.
So Ken, thanks a lot for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me in.
Anytime.
I messaged you earlier about some difficulties I'm having with audio. We do. I about a year ago, I was hired by a community group to start streaming music to their community. They do community development work, parent-child programs, and all kinds of things. And we were just going. We booked about 30 musicians over about a 35-week period, and we had we were giving them access to my client's Facebook page as admins for a temporary period, and they were just broadcasting live, and all I was doing was coordinating and scheduling and recruiting. But we ran into all kinds of problems, of course, because people were doing their shows with their cameras upside down and sideways and all the rest of it. So we were looking for a way to do things a little bit more professionally. And I was watching Mary Gauthier, the musician, and she had just discovered StreamYard, and said, "Oh well, this is pretty good. I can go for that." So we started using the StreamYard product, and boy, it just simplified everything because I had total control of all the shows now, instead of dealing with whatever people were doing with their phones. Most of our shows have run without a single blip. The people sign in, we chit chat a little bit, then they do a half hour to 40-minute music set, and then we chit chat at the end, and then they're gone. As I noted in my comment to you earlier, in the last couple of weeks, not every time, but periodically, we will get these situations where either the video clips, in other words, it stops and then starts again, and the music sounds like the guitars are underwater. And we've tested this with going straight to YouTube or straight to Facebook or the rest and it's all done in my performance studio. And we've tested it, and it's only happening with StreamYard. And we're really struggling with it because people are tuning out. They're not listening. It's horrible to try and listen to. In fact, I've sent copies of 2 of the tests that we did here yesterday to StreamYard.com/contact. But I haven't heard back anything on there. And I'm just wondering if there's something you can think of that would have it. Again, it's one of those, it's irregular, right? So it's hard to diagnose when it's not happening all the time.
Yeah. I'd say this. I mean, I can check why they haven't. Let me actually do this while we're talking. Actually, I'll just message a couple of people. Just do me a favor. What's your last name again? Just says Ken there.
Duff, D-U-F-F.
As
in get off your.
Okay. Okay. So just let me just make some notes here. I'll just like see. I mean, they just could have been really busy, with the event and whatnot. So, what I would do on that is, I think they're going to want to work with you individually on that and try to help you figure that out, because there may be something else that they know to try. I mean, obviously, cabling is obviously the important thing. I might consider trying that. The Chrome browser, I don't know what version of the browser you're running. Have you tried updating the latest version of Chrome?
Yeah, it just upgraded last week, I think. I had an update.
How about throwing out some other suggestions? Firefox. Have you tried Firefox?
I have not, no.
So maybe try Firefox. Let's see, I'm trying to help deduce all of this.
Sure.
I would say restart the router, restart your computer. Some of the standard stuff. It sounds silly, but it can.
You worked for Microsoft before?
Yeah, I know, right? I've actually never worked in those capacities, but I would say try some of those. But I definitely would say try Firefox. Let's see if there's something there. And I'm messaging them actually right now. So if I'm not paying attention to you, I'm paying attention to you. I'm listening to you, but I'm actually just trying to,
because we upgraded the router, and we've actually upgraded our internet, and so we're uploading at about anywhere between 4.8 and 5.6. So because that was our original suspicion. I'm out in the country. The original suspicion was that maybe our upload speed wasn't strong enough, and it was chattering on its way to you. But now we're getting, as I say, 4.8 to 5.6 plugged in Ethernet connected to the router. I'm told that's pretty good speeds.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it should be okay. Sounds like a typewriter. Somebody on a typewriter, by the way. I hear a.
Oh, sorry, that's my pen. I'm clicking my pen.
Okay.
Okay. I was like,
I didn't realize the microphone on my Chromebook was so strong.
By the way, speaking of, okay, so you're using a Chromebook. Are you using that at all for your guitar? Is anything going into your? Okay.
No. I'm just using it because I tuned into you folks. I'm in the house as opposed to in the studio. So
okay. That's the stuff that I can think of. Let me see if anybody else has any other recommendations. Actually, so I know NLTMW is mentioning here. He said that the recent version of Chrome has some issues.
Yeah, that's true.
Purgatory Paranormal saying, are you turning off sound coming out of your computer speakers, or your guest doing that? I said there might be some feedback there. And then let me see if there's anything else.
Yeah, we've dealt with some feedback issues for that reason, and we go on live. We go on with our guests about 15 minutes before the show and say, "Are you plugged into your Ethernet? Are you plugged in? Have you turned off all your internal speakers? Have you, we have a checklist now." And we go through it all with them because obviously we can't see what they're doing from their end. But and we have to trust that they're not lying to us.
So I'm reading a couple other comments here. So Darren here is saying he's thinking maybe the upload speed is potentially an issue, and then NLTMW saying maybe some sort of extension, or if you happen to have any extensions in Chrome, maybe disable some of those. I don't know if you've got any extensions running at all.
I guess I've got a couple, but
some of those can cause some issues, but that's what I would recommend trying right now. But do me a favor, keep me posted if you don't hear back from them.
Okay.
I literally just messaged them right now, so they may respond, they may not. It is the weekend, so
Sure.
But yeah, so I'll we want to see if we can help get that fixed. So
yeah, because I'm now doing 2 different music shows. I do the Friday night one with the with this group, and then I've started a separate one because all my musician friends can't work with COVID. So we're doing a Sunday show, and I've just started doing a show, an interview show called Hometown Conversations, so that people who can't see each other in the coffee shop anymore can get to meet some of the people in town. And StreamYard has just been a real dream come true for doing that kind of stuff. So I'm really happy with it. It's just this one little issue on the music stuff that's bugging me. So
Yeah.
yes, but keep me posted. Seriously, like if you don't hear
Will do.
back, try Firefox. I message support as well, and so let me know just if you get stuck. You can private message me. It's fine, whatever.
Yep.
So okay.
Okay, super. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
So
NL-
What were we saying, Leticia?
NLT is a mess. Y'all are giving some great comments. Awesome.
So do me a favor. Let's go ahead and bring on. Let's bring on our. No, we got a couple more guests here. Go ahead and bring on another guest.
Yes. Hello.
Hey, hi. How are you?
Good. How are you? Good to see you again.
Not too bad. The question I was asking there is like when you share your screen, you get that going to eternity off a display that's happening. Now, I've saw some people that have done that, and they're just like we are now on the screen. It's not going on and on and on. And I tried that a couple of times, and I'm not sure how that's done.
It should be an incognito window, actually. Try opening a second incognito window.
Yeah, I've done that. I open on a laptop, and I open it on the desktop, and I had 2 screen shares, and all of a sudden, like I can't seem to work around it. So, but if there's a way of trying it or doing something different, I'll try it again, I guess.
Let me do one more. Let me try something, actually. I think I might have your solution here. And thanks a lot for joining us, by the way, again. Good seeing you back.
Hey, you sent me an email, but I figured you were really busy there. So
no, all good. No, no, totally. No, we had the event last week, so if I have been a little MIA, that's why.
You did an awesome job there. I sent a little critique into, but it was really good. So
thank you. We really appreciate that. So when you were doing, were you doing an incognito window, by the way, or were you doing a were you
second screen?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think because I've done this before. Let me just see if I can.
So when you're doing your breakout on your tech questions there, you showed your when you showed your screen, it did the same thing. It was just going on and on and on as well, right?
Yes.
Like not on the side, like all your brands and all that was okay, and the people on the bottom were okay. It was just your window, that little square there, was just going on and on. And I've seen some people, like I've got 2 or 3 people interested in how to use StreamYard, and I tried to do hey, just look at me, I'll show you my screen, and it just goes right out,
So let me try something.
Like, just share your screen now, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It'll just go on.
You're on mute, Christian. 1 second, he's just setting it up.
Yeah, no problem. He's got me.
Give me 1 second. Let me try this.
I'm full screen too here, so.
Okay.
There you go. You see that? you seen what I was talking about then, right?
Yep.
So, and like I said, I seen other people do that, and their picture or their image just stays still, and they can go around the screen and open up the banners, and and that's what I was trying to do is kind of teach how to work around some of the screens and what to put in and that kind of stuff, and that was annoying just seeing me going off in the distance, So.
Right.
So it should be I think it's an incognito one. I've done it recently. I just haven't done it enough.
I'll tell you what, you sent me an email one time. So when you get some time and you figure it out, just throw off another email to me and
Okay.
I'll work on it.
Easy.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I wanted to do.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Eldwin.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yep. No problem. Bye.
Great question. That was a real good question.
It was, very good question. Yeah, and I need to go play around with that and figure that out. I've done it where I've not had the infinite effect.
Yes.
But again, I'm also like multitasking a lot at the moment.
Yeah. Sometimes when you do something once, trying to remember how you did that thing, you gotta go back, jog your memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got one more question, right, Leticia?
Guest?
Or one more guest. Yeah, sorry, one more guest.
So I'm
who's
gonna
this
bring
week's, who's our guest? Yeah.
We're gonna bring Cynthia on. She's been waiting patiently. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Amazing.
Good. How are you? Your audio sounds amazing, by the way.
Thank
and I love
you.
your setup.
Oh, thank you. I love my mic. A lot of people have asked me
What kind of mic are you using?
It's the Samson G-Track Pro.
Okay, nice.
And
Very nice.
it's just done me very well. So knock on wood. But I started with a Samson Meteor, little guy. So
okay.
Yeah.
And the Samson G-Track Pro, it's about $130 mic. Just a heads up, by the way. And here's the thing: price is not the important part. It's just giving you guys an idea of how much that mic actually costs. So this is the Samson G-Track Pro.
G-Track Pro, yeah.
It's about $130. But your audio sounds great, and I guess you're going in with the AirPods, right? As your headphones?
They've actually worked out really well for me. And all these questions everybody's asking are wonderful, because all of those things are things that I have had problems with. The sound, the lighting. In fact, my lighting is a little funky today because
I like it.
Thank you. But I am in a cavernous room with huge skylights. So I actually don't usually stream during the day. I stream at night. So I don't have I always say the natural light is my enemy.
Yeah.
Because I'm, very pasty to begin with. So it doesn't help. But I wanted to show you, just for some comic relief, my second camera. I have an umbrella above my head right now.
Oh,
okay.
I see.
No, that's good.
Ooh.
Okay, so how did you switch to the camera? Hold on, let's talk about that. How did you switch to the camera?
Okay, so I have the two cameras set up. So right now, because it's not my stream, I just went into the camera and mic settings on my login here for the StreamYard broadcast studio, and I just chose my second camera. But when I stream, I can tell you how I do that when I use the second camera.
So let's take it one step back. Okay, what kind of cameras are you using right now for two cameras?
I have the Logitech C922 Pro is my main one, and the C920 was the first camera that I bought, so that became my second camera.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so now walk us through your setup. How do you do multi-camera setup when you're doing your own broadcast?
Okay, so when I do my broadcast, because I have a small channel, it's a very niche market, the paranormal.
And what's the name of your channel?
It's called Purgatory Paranormal of New York. And,
got it.
Yeah, so small niche there. New York City. So I fought with figuring out how to do this. And actually, Melanie Diane, you've had her on before, and she's absolutely marvelous, and I adore her, gave me this hint. But because the issue I have is I need to be able to use my mic when I'm using my main camera, but I want to use the mic on the second camera when I switch to it. Very funky, but I'll tell you how I do it. So what I do is you open StreamYard.com, you go to StreamYard and you set up your broadcast, and there you are. Then you open another tab to StreamYard again, which logs you in, and you basically log into the broadcast studio and set up the second camera. So you're basically logged in twice to your own stream. The important thing to remember, especially like if you want to use a second camera and you don't care about the audio on the second camera, which a lot of people don't, they just want the angles,
Right.
Then when you set up the second camera on StreamYard, go into audio and make the speaker or the mic, you have to shut it off. Okay. And it's difficult to do because there's no just off choice. So
Right.
if you don't want to use the mic in that camera, you need to go into your computer sound settings and disable it. And if you do want to use it, I was fighting with it because I was like, well, why can't I get this mic to work? And I didn't realize that I had disabled it in my computer
Wow.
settings.
Yeah.
Then in the audio settings as well for speaker, I set that to my computer speakers, which are off when I live stream. So there's no echo. And then when I switch to my second camera and I run a radio, because I run a radio and people want to listen to the radio, I need to mute myself on my main StreamYard login to the broadcast. And then they'll hear me speaking through the mic on the camera. It's a little funky.
Wow.
But it's a workaround. I don't know what the thing is you guys called it. I don't know if it was the Stream Deck or something like that you have. I don't have a switcher. That's how I do it. That's a workaround.
Yeah. No.
Right.
It totally works. And it depends on also the types of setups that people have. For example, if somebody has, for example, 2 smartphones, the easiest way to do that is to make them 2 camera sources. You know, you position the one camera where you want it to go, and you have your main camera, for example.
Right.
You can go the route of, if they're USB webcams, then, you know, you want to go a different route for that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I use a H and Mini Pro for my switcher, but you don't need that necessarily depending on what you're doing. So it's going to vary depending on the user.
Right.
So, this is awesome, actually. And I want to thank you, by the way, for joining us
You're
for
very
this
welcome.
show, actually.
Thank you for having me on. No, I appreciate it. I love StreamYard because I used another program for the better part of a year. I don't know if you want me to say who it was, but I fought with them they were wonderful, and they worked with me, and we tried to figure out why my streams were always blurry.
Yeah.
And they were always more blurry after they uploaded after the stream was over.
Oh, wow.
We could never, if you look at my old streams, you're like, whoa, what were you using? Were you, was it raining in your house? It was horrible,
Yeah.
And but they were lovely. I have to say they were lovely. They kept going back and forth with me, and we just could never figure it out.
Can never
And
get it right.
minute I used StreamYard, I mean, look, it's clear. It's
It
clear.
looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
And I'll say this one thing you've done that I think is a really first off, I want to actually, do me a favor. What's your YouTube channel? Because I want to pull this up so that I can.
Yes, let's pull her up.
It's Purgatory Paranormal of NY. Purgatory Paranormal of New York. And I'm full screen, I think, right now.
Yep, you're full screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you're full screen. All good. So I'm going to share this. And by the way, I'm sharing this. This is directly from an iPad, by the way. I'm sharing. I'm actually using the Luna display, sharing from an iPad. So I'll show you guys the Luna display afterwards. But so this is your channel. She's got about 1,900 subscribers, by the way. So here's the thing I'd recommend to people. If you're watching, and you're like, hey, you know what? I want to see how other people are doing it. Check this out. I mean, she's got 1,900 subscribers. I think your lighting looks amazing on your location there. And I think the one thing, by the way, that I think is really important to that is the fact that, the C920 or the 922, they're very similar cameras. And people will get them and they'll not have the right light. And the problem with that is when you don't have the right light, it's going to look bad.
Yeah,
it is going to look blurry. In your case, though, I see them like, okay, you've got lamps. You have that umbrella over top of you as well. So what that's doing, though, and are there any other lights, or is that it?
If I back out of the umbrella, you will see the light.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Skylight light. Oh,
Yeah.
natural light. It's so bad. And it was worse before because the sun was beaming. I'm like, I got to get the umbrella. I know. I have a golf umbrella over my head, but nobody knows that.
Nope.
Right. Well, and so here's the thing. It's taking it's capturing that light source and redirecting it.
Right.
Or directing it to where you want.
Right.
For example, if you've got too much, if you want to sort it all to come directly into you, you want it to, sort of diffuse that light a little bit.
Exactly. So it's, I mean, I have glasses. So any of us that wear glasses know the struggle is real, but I have my two little, it's constant.
Yes.
But I have my 2 lights here and they're under the umbrella. So, it's,
that
you
works.
have to play with it. It's just a constant. I think you do more setting up than the time you actually stream. I am convinced of that.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to bring up a couple of comments here, by the way. So I made a couple of notes here about your YouTube channel.
Oh, thank you.
So I think it's like
Very
I
sweet
I
of
think
you.
it's really cool. Like, so Leticia, can you do me a favor? Can you switch
Very
back to our
sweet of
regular
you.
camera?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Can you switch back to our regular camera view, actually? Like with all of us. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Got it.
So there's some good comments actually in there, Leticia. I don't know if you want to bring those up while I'm making a couple of
Yes.
notes. Like I think Darren's got a question, or sorry, yeah, Darren's got quite a few questions actually.
Yeah,
Let's
that's a
go
good
through it.
idea about my lamps, actually.
Let's check it out.
I think there's one about A to many, I think, as well. So like, just feel free to bring those up.
Yeah, someone mentioned that they saw you, Cynthia, on another show. Cynthia at.
Oh, Oracles and Beyond. That's Cassie. Yes, she's very,
Yes.
very lovely lady. Very lovely lady. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
All right, I'm trying to see.
The cameras on the iPhones are great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So here, I'll bring up Darren's.
He's asked about the wattage in your lamps. Like
These
what's the...
two, I think he's meaning.
Yes, yes.
Well, you know what? They're those LED bulbs. And if anybody's ever tried to figure out, once you take them out of the box and the box is not in the same room, you cannot tell what the wattage is on these bulbs. I don't understand. It's like, dude, put a number on the bulb.
Put a number on it, man.
So
Right.
I have no idea what they are.
Wow, that's funny.
But like I said, a lot of times I stream at night. So I stream at night. It's a paranormal channel. I'm not like being all spooky or anything, but
Oh,
generally
okay.
those are off. So yeah.
So
But
very
thank
good
you
comments.
for that, Darren.
Darren also is asking just a quick note about the switcher. By the way, we talked about this earlier. Said you cannot use, and NLTMW mentioned this as well. You can't use the ATEM mini switcher at all. It, like, for example, if you're using the C920, the 922, Logitech Brio, anything that is USB, you cannot use that with an ATEM Mini Pro, any of their models, because they're HDMI only, meaning you have to have an HDMI capable camera. So, for example, I'm using a mirrorless camera here that plugs in via HDMI, but that's just something to know. So in the case of that, then you need to go to some different ways to, switch your cameras.
Right. That makes sense.
Let me see. There's another one actually, and like your cameras are proof. So,
Yeah.
for example, this comment really, I think, sums it up. That's why I don't buy expensive cameras. There's no need to do that if you have the proper lighting with the Logitech.
Right.
Absolutely. If you
I
get
have
the
a
right
Logitech too.
lighting.
Lighting
Yeah.
is life. Lighting is everything. And if you have a green screen, you need more.
More lighting. Yeah.
More. It just needs light. It just everything needs light. I have a DSLR and I've thought about using it. When I was getting so frustrated with my old streams, I was like, I'm gonna buy another camera. I've got to buy a different camera. It's got to be the camera. And then I used StreamYard and I'm like, oh, it's not the
the light.
camera.
Yeah.
It's the
I'm
lighting.
using
And, go ahead, Leticia.
I'm using a Logitech HD 1080p. Yeah, this is my second one. The first one lasted about 5-7 years, so they do last a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And then the other thing also, so there's Logitech. They have the Logitech Capture app. So you can sometimes you may want to download that and play with the adjustments. It may say it only works for a Brio, but it works for other ones.
I have the software for the Logitech, and it's I can set up with it, and then when you come into your other programs that you're using, like OBS or StreamYard, it's your settings are there, but things look a little bit better. So sometimes when you're looking at yourself at the camera through the Logitech Capture software, it's not that great, but you have to check it through the software you're really going to stream with. Yeah,
definitely. And then the other side to just cameras in general, I mean, like for example, if you're going to use the Logitech, make sure the lighting is 100% key. Update the firmware as well. So like I updated my firmware like 2 or 3 times recently, but that can significantly improve the quality of your camera as well. The software, the lighting. A lot of people also, I mean, they like when I mean like have a lot of lighting, like if you're in a place, for example, if you've got windows. So for example, you don't want the windows, like you don't want to put your back to the windows because all the light's going to come in through the window and then the camera's going to see it and it's going to wash you out. you know, for those of you who like, you know, you run a computer and you're like, hey, you know what, my camera doesn't look good. When you don't have enough light, this is another thing. It actually makes your computer work harder. So if you don't have enough light for those Logitechs, for example, you're going to start to see a lot of artifacting going on, you know, where you're going to see blockiness. And that's because there's not enough light, and it's interpreting what they think is the edge and what they think is, you know, black versus like, oh, it's a shirt versus a background and things like that.
That's right.
So,
And even if you turn off auto white balance, autofocus, these cameras are all still, they're constantly, you'll see them, you know, I don't know what you would call it, kind of wave wash in and out. Even if none of that is set, they're still trying. They're always trying. I am so jealous of the people who don't wear glasses, who can put a ring light right around the camera.
Me too.
Right? Are you so jealous?
Because I don't want to get contacts, and that's what somebody said. Just get contacts. I don't want to get
the rings are still in your contacts, but it's more acceptable. Like I see people and I see the ring in their eye, but that's acceptable. But us, you know, look, there's my light. So you can, but what am I gonna do? I can't sit here in the
ring
dark.
light right here.
I wish, yes. Oh, don't gloat.
No, but actually, so in terms of fixing the glasses thing, by the way, if you happen to have a ring light, part of it is like making, so a lot of people, they do the, you know, they put it right there in front of them versus let's put them off to the side. Also like mixing up your lighting as well. So you could have, you know, having a softbox, for example, to fill in some of that area. I've tried little
everything.
Yeah. So
I've got 2 giant soft boxes. They're in the closet now. I've tried lighting in the ceiling. My husband's like, I'll put more track lighting up. I'm like, no, it's next to the skylights. Don't bother.
Because you got that natural light coming in. So your room is a little different. That's why you mentioned you go live at night. It just evens out better.
I wish I could just close myself in. You know, I told him, I said, I want a she shed. Why can't I have a she shed? He's like, you can't have a she shed. We already have a shed. I'm like, okay, well. Now I have a golf umbrella above my head. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow.
The struggle is real. You do more work and then you're online for a little bit and then it's over and you're like, wow, I got to take everything apart.
I know. Now I got to take everything back down. Yes. Which is why I put my green screen away, because I was like, I got to take this down. I got to move the poles. It's like, you know what? Let's just leave it in the closet.
I know. I made him hang a wire for me, and I had to move my studio because our house flooded last August. My old studio's over there. The wire is still
hanging
across the ceiling.
That's why people don't understand what goes on behind the scenes.
No,
it's like, we make things look easy and perfect, but really it's not. You know, it's not. Sometimes I have my nephew holding my ring light. Sometimes it just depends if I'm standing up and the pole's not going high enough.
I love it.
I'm like, stay, don't go to sleep. You know.
I will say this. I mean, just about like equipment. So it takes time to set things up, but at the same time, if you're somebody that has, if you're somebody that has, like, you've got all this equipment, like, and you're not sure how to use it, like, let us know. Like,
that'd be a good idea.
We can talk equipment on here as well, but like, let us know, because the thing is, you know, it's like you put a lot of time and investment in your streams, and we want you to go live more often. You know, go live, like, you know, and we want your streams to look the best. So, you know, so the key things are like learning how the equipment actually works, making sure you can make those adjustments that you need to make to get it set up properly. I mean, to Cynthia's point here, you know, it's just really, I mean, like, I just want to make you full screen here again. Like, the quality looks amazing.
It looks really good, for real.
And she's not using an expensive camera. Like, she's not using, like, I'm using a mirrorless DSLR here. I mean, her camera looks fantastic. So it's not to say you need to go buy expensive equipment. You need to buy, we mentioned earlier, audio. Focus on audio. For a camera, you don't have to buy the most expensive cameras. If you're just getting started, use a webcam, but you need to supplement that with the proper kinds of lighting so that it's going to look the best.
Right. And very true.
So
really spot on.
Awesome. So, Cynthia, I made some notes here, by the way. Feel free to also, again, tell everybody this, shoot me an email, marketing@streamyard.com. Just send me a link to your show. If you got a website, send me that, and just tell me a little bit about your stream as well. So we want to learn more about that. So,
well, thank you so much for having me on, guys. It was nice meeting you.
You as well.
Anytime.
Thank you.
All right. Well, take care. Have a great rest of the weekend.
You too. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Everyone's put in the struggle is real in the comments. I love it.
We're bringing the show in for a landing this week.
Yes.
So
a soft landing. A soft landing.
Definitely, yeah. So our next show, let me just make sure I get this right. You know what? We'll do that afterwards. Actually, you know what? While we're doing this, while we're setting some things up, do us a favor.
Yes.
Yeah, we got it. We got something cool. We're going to show you guys something real quick.
Oh
So,
my God, I'm so excited.
hashtag love StreamYard. So hashtag love StreamYard. You can just copy and paste this if you want. Or I'll even enter it. Actually, I don't know if I assume that we're excluded. I assume if I put hashtag love StreamYard, I don't know if that's going to actually pull in to this tool, but that'll be interesting. So, do me a favor. Let's put hashtag love StreamYard. We're going to now do a giveaway. And that giveaway is going to be for, what do we decide, Leticia?
We're going to do a cup.
You
can never have enough
mug, yes.
You can never have enough. I keep saying cup. I'm sorry. You can never have enough mugs.
So love StreamYard. Put that in the comments. And then I'm going to actually do a quick screen share here. Leticia, I'm taking this duty over from you.
Yes.
But there's a reason. Okay, so there's a reason though. Like
yes,
we're like
reason.
so excited about this, and the reason is because I have access to the giveaway tool now. So I need to make an image of Leticia doing this. So
I know we gotta do a GIF.
We have access to the giveaway tool. So when we go to do the giveaways, now all we have to do is run the giveaway, and I'm actually going to share this on my screen here in a second.
Run it. This is our first time doing it, guys. So be patient.
Yeah, so do me a favor. Put your comment hashtag love StreamYard in. This is just amazing. I got to say, this is one of the best. Do what?
Dimebag. He's so funny. Darren.
Yeah, and I got to say, I just want to bring up Annalisa's comment here. By the way, sorry, it's covering us as well. Just lighting is life, love it. Learning from this as a rookie. Started using reincubate camo. That's a tool we talked about. We did a show on that actually just recently on the StreamYard YouTube channel where we had Aiden, Aiden Fitzpatrick, the founder of reincubate camo. We had him come on and show people how they can use their smartphone as a webcam. That was actually just about 3 weeks ago. We had him on, and it's a fantastic tool. If you haven't checked this out, it's it's using your smartphone as a webcam. And so he walked through all of this, but yeah, that's definitely something. If you've got, for example, you don't even want to buy another camera, you've already spent the money on a smartphone, you can use just for you can just purchase a license. They have a free version and a paid version of reincubate camo. That'll let you use your smartphone as a webcam. So it uses the cameras that are in these devices. And it lets you bring that in StreamYard. And she's saying, hey, I'm on a budget, so you can't afford expensive kit, but use two different existing soft boxes, one elevated high in the corner behind her to create that halo effect, and then two ring lights, a 12-inch in front with warm light, and a 10-inch RGB one close to your profile.
Awesome. Check her out.
And with that, when you do that, by the way, if you're using different types of lighting, there are different types of ring lights, for example. Some of them put out white light, some of them put out yellow light, some of them don't have the ability to adjust. Some of them let you actually adjust, dial in the color. Some of them can be changed, so you can add different hues and whatnot. Like you could add blue, for example, or red, or go with some branding, create a certain vibe for your live stream. So yeah, so make sure we and by the way, she said she watched Aiden's video. It was convinced her. So
that's right.
Awesome.
Go check that out, guys.
Cool. Okay, so let's do this. So Albert, let's see. Do me a favor, Albert, shoot me an email, marketing@streamyard.com. Yeah, email us. Just put in the subject line that just tell me like, hey, I'm missing the mug and whatnot. Like, just shoot me that in an email. Just remind me also which episode you were on, or which show you were on for that. I appreciate that. Okay, so with that, without further ado, I'm going to bring up the StreamYard giveaway tool that we have here. And we probably have more than 37 people, and I realized I actually accidentally closed the window. I'm sorry. No, this is my first time using this, by the way. So, okay, Albert, just kidding. Okay, no worries at all, by the way. Maybe you'll actually win this. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, you guys can see how we draw this. So basically, I'm just going to hit draw, and you're going to win a StreamYard mug here. So we're going to hit draw. Any last entries, by the way? Okay.
I don't think so.
So we're going to hit draw.
Oh,
and
gosh,
there we go. Look at this. Look at this. This is really cool.
Go spin.
Ooh, I see my name in there.
You saw your name
in there. Oh, Ah, Martez Green. So Martez Green, do me a favor. Shoot me an email, marketing@streamyard.com.
Yes, congrats.
So Martez Green. And then I do want to answer. So
yeah, they're
Martez,
asking questions about the giveaway too.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna get through questions. Let me just make a couple of notes here real quick, actually. So do me a favor, Leticia. Feel free to bring up some comments.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Christian's going to answer the giveaway tool question for you guys in just a second. Okay.
And Albert, you were like super close there, by the way. So Marketa, awesome. Yeah, no, thanks a lot for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Let's bring up some of those comments real quick about the giveaway tool.
Yes.
So
please let us know about the giveaway feature.
So it's something that it's an internal feature that we've built, but the good thing is now it's actually there for us to start using. So I think we're actually we're doing some testing on it. I don't know when it will be released, but I literally just got it, I think, last week. So, and this is the first time actually being able to use it. So I'm excited to be able to test this out with you all. We're probably working through some bugs and stuff, Yolanda. So do me a favor, if you watch the town hall, that's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know we usually do, announcements and things like that. So, and you can talk with Gage and Dan as well. And so what I like to do is, like, if you're, we know that it's a feature that a lot of people want. So do us a favor. I don't know what they're going to announce. If they're going to announce something tomorrow, for example, or if it'll be the next week or whatever, but that's going to be the best place to learn about new StreamYard features they're rolling out. But do us a favor. Yeah. It's not out yet. So only I have access to it at the moment, or myself and obviously the rest of the StreamYard team. I think we had another couple of other questions about this, right? So, Purgatory Paranormal of New York. Yeah. We're working to see, I got to find out when we can release this and whatnot, or if it can get released, or I don't even know how it works. I just was told, like, hey, you know what? You can actually use it. Here's how it works. But I don't know how it's built behind the scenes. But we get tons of people asking for this. So my strong recommendation would be tune in to the weekly town hall with Gage and Dan, co-founders of StreamYard. With that, by the way, do you have anything else, Leticia?
Peter said that he had a question earlier about a problem with annoying.
Okay, Peter. So, do me a favor. Also, so we have the StreamYard Facebook group, by the way. If you go to facebook.com/groups/StreamYard community, if you go there, join that group, and you can A, ask your questions there. B, you can also go to StreamYard.com/contact and send a message to our support team as well, and they can work with you on that sort of thing. In addition to that, let me see. So we'll make sure we check that out. NLTMW, I love hearing this. Yeah, Kelsey and Dana were using it for StreamYard Spotlight. So this is really good. There's also a comment picker.
Yes.
Purgatory mentions there's a comment picker tool as well there. That does work. It doesn't tie natively into things, so it doesn't always work.
Yeah, it's a glitch.
But no, we really appreciate it. But with that, and I'll also make the note about the somebody wants a password for a guest URL. Yep. So with that, though, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this week's show. I got to say, I'm like, Leticia and I were initially going to cap this at like 2 hours today.
Yeah, we kept going.
And we're like, this is going really well. Lots of really great questions. I love being able to connect with you all in the community. So, learning more about your streams and, what you're broadcasting about, some of your challenges, the areas where we can help. But I want to thank you all for joining us. The next show, by the way, Leticia's, I think I got this right? Next Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the 24th. Yeah. So we're going to have an amazing show again. Bring your questions. We want to bring you on. We want to bring more people on. So bring your questions. Just let us know, what your challenges are with live streaming. If you've tried something this week, like, I can't encourage you enough. Go live. Start going live this week. And, if you run into a challenge, you're like, hey, you know what? I have a question about something, or you know what? I did this week. I tried this differently this week. Let us know how it went. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
So
And just to piggyback off of Christian, you know, take something away from the show. Take one thing away from the show that you can actually create action on now. So try that out, and that way, when you just come back every week, come on panel, and we'll continue to answer your questions or check out what you have done so far. And this show is all about you guys. Really, we always keep Christian. I always keep you guys in mind all the time. So, this show is centered around y'all. So thank you everybody for tuning in.
thanks everyone, and we will see you all next Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But in the meantime, don't forget to check out the town hall tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Gage and Dan. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye.